Hello, everyone. Please, out there in chat land, let me know if you can hear us because I did put this whole presentation together a little quick just last night. So make sure we're all good on tech. All right. Puck says we have audio. D Money says we have audio. Thank you so much. All right. Welcome to this very, very, very special game that we are privileged to host here. We are going to be playing, well, I'm not going to be playing, but some folks are going to be playing a brand new game that is currently in the last week of the Kickstarter. So, this is a chance to take a look at the game and see if it's something you want to play. It is called Asunder, and we have with us running the game master, the designer of the game, Adam Lawson.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm super psyched. We've got some amazing people playing with us tonight, which, if you don't already know, I think most of you know because you're probably here for them. You saw their posts. But for our longtime regulars or somebody who came around to see Adam and Asunder, you're going to see some people you might recognize. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the game. Before that, even, for those who don't know you, Adam, tell us a little bit about your background, because you're not just involved in games. You've done quite a bit, from writing, directing, producing, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so I grew up with a love of Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games and gaming, and then I got asked to produce Will Wheaton's Tabletop season 1 very early on. Will and Felicia and I and a woman named Sherry Bryant, who was also involved in it at that time, put that together, and that's what brought my love of gaming and my television directing into the same camp, if you will. And then I did Spell Singers for 6 seasons, and Sagas of Sundry, and Force Grey, and Worthy Opponents, and Titan's Grave, and all these celebrity gaming shows, which I have loved. And it was a way to my childhood to somehow sneak back into my career, so I could get paid for nostalgia. So that's where I come from. I also do a show called Escape the Night for 4 seasons that I wrote and directed, and it was a really exciting ride, which also was this interactive sort of gaming experience brought into a cinematic arena, if you will. And I have loved gaming all my life and have done it in television, and then wanted to do it so people could take it home and play it themselves. And so this game has been a little over 6 years in the works, and though I know you say me as game designer, there's a lot of people who made that happen. One is an amazing guy named Rob Schwab, who created a game called Shadows of the Demon Lord, which we then used his system, and he's been a part of this, and he's awesome. He also worked on 5e. And then Brian Engard, who was one of the creators on Fate Core, was my principal writer, and then countless other artists who made it all the art happen. But it's so that is the world of Asunder. That's my background and how I got to it.
So I'm glad you brought up Shadows of the Demon Lord. What kind of drives the decision, one, to decide we need a new game, we need something different? Kind of starting with what drove that decision, and then what made you decide to go with the Shadows of the Demon Lord system to base it in?
I think I wanted, from a role-playing experience, I wanted a different setting and a different world in this world of Asunder, the one I've been dreaming up all this time. But I also wanted a game that was more reactive, and that characters were birthed out of their choices, and their abilities were birthed out of their choices more than maybe you have a class, and then time goes on and it levels up, but that you changed as your story changed. And Shadows of the Demon Lord has this great system called Paths, where as your character is going along the way, you make 3 choices about different paths. And so instead of a handful of classes, you have 52 plus paths that you could pick and mix and match them as your character progresses. Based on the story, you could get addicted to demon blood, for example, and find yourself a Ravager. Or then you join up with this secret society known as the Wooden Legion, who use these big tree-like mechs, these living organic mech suits. Or you might find yourself angry at the governors, and you join the terrorist group known as the Red Alliance. And then you would acquire those abilities. And I wanted to experience role playing that way. where you are reactive. The same with the way the game starts is it always tries to start in the action to build a more of a reaction to this game than I have this character, this bard with this cool weapon. Not that that's not a wonderful way to play the game, but that was the inspiration.
Well, we're going to get to see that in action, the whole starting in media res. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't know Latin. But first, a little bit of information about the world we're going to be playing in. Now, in your quick start resource that's available from the Kickstarter page, you mentioned the 10 things you need to know about the world. And I feel like that might be a great precursor before we jump into this for the audience to kind of get a little bit familiar with where we're going to be.
Yeah, I think that is a great place to start. So the first thing to know about Asunder in its 10 mighty things, as if those are some 10 commandments, is that there are no gods, right? The gods have left Asunder, and in that process, they took all the metal with it to go fight their eons-long war, which happens to be with the Demon Lord. So in that process of leaving, they took all the metal, which is the second thing to know. There's no metal. The third thing is that people have adapted, and what's happened is essentially there is this divine spark inside of people called essence, and wherever people were on the very disparate islands of Asunder, it bonded with different parts of the land, maybe the beasts or the insects or the plants or the Black Isles. It turned inward. And as a result, people could reshape plants into living weapons and tools, or they could take on the aspects of beasts. Or in Sky City, where where bonded with these Blyce crystals, they could manipulate gravity and leap like they were on the moon. So that's how the people have adapted. And so the world of Asunder, the equipment is alive and living. Instead of a crossbow, you might have a thorn spitter that literally lives on your arm and it regrows its thorns. The next thing to know is that much of the world is water because it's all broken into islands. Imagine when the gods left it, shattered it, hence broke it asunder, if you will. And each of those islands holds one of these origins. So you might hear that, what your origin is, and it's just where your ancestry's essence, what it bonded with, and it grants you certain abilities. The world is super fantastical, meaning that we have, dinosaur-sized scoped animals. We have, prehistoric time-sized ferns and vegetation. And it is an over-the-top experience where humans aren't necessarily fully the top of the food chain. But the world is also harsh as a result of that. And the world is also dying. And seekers, the characters that we play in this, have seen some signs that the world is ending. And it's not ending necessarily from a drought, but something much more devious than that. And these characters have seen these signs, and they're now in the pursuit of answers. So the people are strange and varied. Seafarers can grow extra limbs when they get stronger, or they gain an extra eye. And there are also the insect weavers in Jaddiah who can spew forth insects out of their mouth and who can have a swarm live inside them. There's also no magic in this world. There is chaos, which was the power of creation that the gods left over, right? And a few, just people from the mainland can touch it, but it was not really meant for humans to wield. So it's addictive, and if used enough, it destroys you, and it literally might blow you up. And then humans are not alone in this world, right? Your great contender is the Naga, the female up top, snake half bottom. It's that these are huge, powerful warriors. They control half the mainland, and they were the second to last creation of the gods. And so they forever hate humans because humans were the final. And then the seekers look for answers is the last one of it. And so they're searching for answers in this world to maybe why it's ending, answers to what's happened to them personally. And that is their pursuit. And their story can be your story if you play it, and it will be the story of our people tonight.
Fantastic. Well, before we jump in, I think the last thing I kind of want to ask about, and I want to mention too that we'll have a little bit of time to do Q&A if anybody has more questions about the game afterwards, as long as Adam's still available. I don't know. It depends how long this runs tonight. But if Adam's still available, perhaps we can get some questions from the audience afterwards. The last thing I just wanted to mention is my impression, reading through the materials, was that this could be a really good system for first-time game masters, because there's both kind of a built-in prompt and direction to go, but even without a pre-made adventure, you know, there's kind of that idea that the seekers are looking for what's going wrong with the world. At the same time, all of the tech is organic, and so you can just kind of make your own mutants. Would you say this is a very malleable system, or is it kind of just like this is a game for when you want something pre-built?
I would say both is the hope, right? Is that it has some mechanics in there that you can let you sit on the rails, but because of the varied nature of the world and what's happened and things you can have with living weapons or chaos, you can mutate it to whatever you want it to be. And there's so many lost islands and other pieces that the world is yours to build.
Well, on that note, without further ado, let's jump into the world of Asunder.
The world is broken. Broken by the gods who gave it life, then abandoned it. We have been left to fend for ourselves, our divine essence bonding with the plants, which we reshaped into weapons, bonding with the sea, which then reshaped us. Next was the insects, and then the beasts of the land. We found remnants of the gods, chaos, the power to transform reality, but it was not meant for us to wield. The secret societies, with both noble and selfish goals, have tried to control it. Something has changed. Gaia has awoken from her slumber, and Asunder has begun to devour itself. The Naga have betrayed the Alliance. Demons flood the Black Isle, and the dead have begun to rise. Most deny the end is coming. We've seen the signs, cannot turn back. We are the Seekers, and we will find the answers wherever they take us. Our story can be your story.
And welcome to Asunder. I think right off the bat, we should introduce our amazing seekers tonight. These are those who have seen something wrong in the world or found something that inspires them to look for answers, and they have led them here. So why don't we start out with Camilla?
Hey, it's me. If you are a regular to our channel, you already know me as Jaddiah or Nerd Narrative. I'm also the production manager here for the Mercenaries of Mischief. So most of what I do is behind the scenes anyway. But I'm Camilla tonight, and I am the Skye of Skye City, and my path is the Vanguard. So I'm kind of a leader of sorts, and I'm supposed to say what I'm seeking, but it's kind of secret.
Support?
Yeah, exactly. I'm supposed to say what I'm seeking, but it's kind of a reveal, so I think I'm gonna wait just a little bit on that.
Nice. Okay. And in this game, one of the mechanics is there's this thing called secrets, which the keeper's encouraged to give out to various players at the beginning of the game, that then they can pop off at different points in the story. And when they do, they get a seeker point, which is something that gives them an advantage when they're rolling later on. So Gary, fill us into the world of Gary.
Oh man, how could I not? Gary's just like, think old man. Like, he's an older dude, but he's really buff, and he carries around this really large bone sword. He's always looking for a fight. He wants to join the Bone Army. That's like his aspiration. He's like, oh, please, Bone Army. But like, he kind of had a falling out with his homelands in the Black Isle, and he found out that he actually could really get in touch with his essence to like tap into the minds of those around him in his party, and he can draw off their strength and also like kind of mind meld with them a little bit. So it's like, man, Gary's got a lot going on. I don't even know if I understand him.
And so Petra, tell us about Petra.
Hi, I'm Arkady, and tonight I'm playing Petra, who is also from Skye City. She's a young noble woman who's an artist. So she's from a noble family and pursued the arts, but she has recently been kicked out of her noble family for having some rather radical political views and possibly dipping into some criminal enterprises. So she's rather a bit of a political agitator and trying to, get people to do her dirty work for her.
Nice. And so tell us a little about what your essence is, because both you and Camilla share the same essence, where your essence bonded with the Blyce crystals.
Right.
And so that gives you, what does that let you do?
So Sky City runs on crystals, which allow us to manipulate gravity. So we can do cool sky dancing moves and be lighter than air and use these gigantic weapons that would normally be too heavy for us. But because we can control the gravity around them, we can just wail on people with ridiculously oversized weapons.
It's rad.
Nice. Right? It's rad. And so they can be
That's really
10
rad.
times normal,
It is.
right?
It's really cool.
Yes. So then, so tell us about Totty. What does she bring into the table?
Right. Totty's a lot. First of all, I'm Dingo from Dingo Doodles. I do YouTube channel where I make animated series based off a D&D campaign called Fool's Gold. But tonight I'm going to be playing Totty, which is kind of a nervous, timid wreck that has been kicked around quite a bit in her life. She is a insect weaver, which means she loves bugs, and she has like 2 buns on the back of her head, like hairstyle, and she keeps her bugs in there, which are little June bugs. And she's just kind of like going about her biz, but she does have an important task on her right now, but we'll leave that for right now. So she's gonna be fun. I'm gonna see how she works and how she works with this group when she's just a nervous wreck.
Nice. And she can send that swarm out, so that'll be their dopey June bugs. They sting and bite and can create a mess for others.
Yep.
That's awesome. So yeah, your essence is bonded with the insects, and you can reshape them and control them. And that takes us to Jaddiah.
Yes,
In the castle.
I am the absolute opposite of what Dingo's character is. But hello, I am One Shot Questers. You may know me from either TikTok or YouTube. But today, OnlyFans, yeah. But I am playing a character named Jaddiah, and I'm from the mainland. And this is something really cool with the mainland characters. They actually come from like a bunch of different areas, and so I'm from an area called Storm Point. And the mainland people, I guess they're what makes them unique in their way is the chaos that Adam was talking about. These guys literally harness the chaos inside of them. It could be addictive. They can use the chaos, and in certain points, I can literally destroy my own body or just destroy myself entirely. So I'm super excited to play this character because it's totally opposite than what I usually always play. But Jaddiah has gone through a lot. And again, I won't give off too much. He'll probably come up as we play the story, but he's gone through a lot. The dude is an insane tracker, an insane navigator. He knows his way around. He's very slim. So he could really make his way around everything. He's average, just like Gary, very average person. But he's a little bit of a hothead. So I'm really excited about that.
Don't get attached.
I
Don't get attached.
We'll try.
Don't get attached.
I already like
And
him.
I think what's happened is in people in the mainland, they're inside of it, they can actually connect with these chaos shards that open this up. And I think that for Jaddiah, that is something, you've chosen the Marauder path, which is like a dirty fighter.
Right.
But this thing has been inside of you, this void, right? That you're trying to fill, and chaos might be the thing you need.
It could. It could.
So I think that maybe, I think that's a clear thing of this example of this seeking, that you're seeking to fill this void in you, which is, and you think chaos can cure it. So this is our lovely and amazing cast of characters. And to give us set us up really quickly, where we last left off, or they last left off, is that we will call it the sisters, which is Petra and Camilla, and then the brothers, that's Gary and Jaddiah. They met up at a riot in Haydn. There was some new taxes being raised, a riot was going on. They got on what they thought was the right side, they think, and got involved, got beat up, mayhem ensued. Petra inspired a lot of chaos and then left before the consequences. And this was the last time they had seen each other, which was about 2 months ago. They hadn't necessarily spent a lot of time together, but the fact that they'd spilt blood and lost some teeth together in the name of fighting the proletariat, they felt like there was some real bond there. Totty, however, is new to the operation. And so so Gary, you and Jaddiah, to set this things up, you were on a ship. You took a ship to Storm Point because Jaddiah is missing his daughter. He lost her in a gambling exchange, which is a dark, dark thing to lose. And he's gotten word, or he thinks, that somebody had seen her in Storm Point. And so he's headed there, which is also why Gary is headed to Storm Point, because that's where a lot of the Bone Army is stationed, one of their principal command stations, and the idea of signing up to recruit. And while on this boat, it was a seafarer boat, so it's a living ship. So imagine like a giant shark/crustacean thing that sucks in water the front and spews it out the back. And it's this living organic thing with this 4-armed captain, and she ran this ship. And it's always a rough ride, but it's the fastest ride. And on this ship with you was Totty. And she didn't speak much, and she didn't really say much throughout the journey, even though despite your best efforts. And right as you hit the shore, at Storm Point, a massive group of militia leapt on you guys, dragged you in, and took you straight into the Bone Army Lockhouse, which is like their, which is imagine sort of like their holding cell or jail, not for long term. And so you ended up trying to make a good impression, ended up in the Bone Army Lockhouse. And you don't know Totty, but because Jaddiah has a way of getting into fistfights, he found himself punching one of the Bone Army people. They believed he was with her, and now you're in this lockhouse. And so the three of you are in this lockhouse, and right as Totty is about to speak, she gets a fist right in the mouth. And this is Torin, and this is about the 5th time she's punched you. And she's asking you what's in your backpack. Now, she has a special backpack. It's this, imagine like 2-foot beetle with these legs that wrap around her body. And once it sinks, once it locks, it can't come unlocked without the right antenna being placed in it. And it has a soft abdomen, so you can put things inside this beetle. And it can't come off while she's alive or without that antenna. And so Heron is her name, or Torin is her name. And she has some ripped, lean muscles covered in this heavy bone Horok armor. And you can tell she kind of gets her off just a little bit to punch somebody in the face. And your face, despite it being lovely, is somewhat punchable in her mind. So she rears back again, Torin, and wham! Hits you right in the mouth again. What's in the backpack?
Oh, you seem to like that, don't you? Oh, I think you should maybe talk to somebody about that. She spits out some blood.
Nice.
Look, I don't know what's in the bag, but I mean, I can tell what's on your mind, and it's definitely not nice.
She starts pacing. She's
a
getting
bit.
agitated. She's getting pacing, getting agitated. And this is a chance where you could use your survivor ability to exhaust the enemy. Because she's
Okay.
punched you, so you could try and wear her out, as she's trying to hit you. Do you want to give that a go?
Sure. How do I do that?
So make a challenge roll, 1d20, and you're trying to
Okay.
attack her strength with your strength, which is in hers is 12.
I got
Let's see.
18.
Boom. So she rears back, punches you right in the gut again. And whew, you start laughing. You spit some blood in her face. And you know what? She's noticeably fatigued. This is wearing her out, trying to punch you. Whew. Whew. She's feeling this. So, Gary, you and Jaddiah are in this lock house, and you can kind of see this here. This is like the center cell, and then there's these like chains on the side. There are essentially these vines, these living vines that are wrapped around your wrists, right? Your gear is off to the side, and so you're being held there, and you're seeing this happen. There's about 3 or 4 members of the Bone Army and another member of the militia, and then there's Totty in the center of the room in front of Torn, and she also has these vines that are wrapped around her wrists, and you can tell they're kind of pulsing vines. There's like a fluid pumping through them, so they're almost like a hydraulic something. They're strong, and that's what's holding you down. And
Pleasant.
and there you can just feel that sort of pumping over your skin,
It's so great.
and so Torn looks over at you, Gary. You're gonna be next. She doesn't talk. You're next. You guys want to take an action?
I want to ask, can I say that since Jaddiah and I were traveling together, and I trust him because of our past, I would have already had my Forge link up with him, so our minds are linked, so I can communicate with him telepathically. Can I
That's
already
right.
have that established?
For sure. You guys are a team on that.
Okay.
All right.
Then as soon as she says that to Jaddiah, I'll be like, let me handle this. I think I know how to talk to them. And I'd like to ask, when she points at me and says this, would I be able to use the fact that I was a peasant conscript? Like, I worked kind of a martial job, and then I was a
Sure.
champion. Would I be able to know how to talk to them, like the kind of things that they're looking for, and something that maybe I could say that's like parlay, like know that language to be like, hey, we don't. Yeah.
So you would get a boon to try and persuade or convince somebody of something here because you speak the language, you know what it was like.
Okay. So yeah, when she points and says that, I'll be like, she doesn't know anything. We just were traveling. We came here, to seek you out. Oh, she's not even part of this.
I don't know what's
Torn.
in there.
Torn looks at you and she says, Gary, I'm surprised here because Totty said you know what's in there. That's what she told us, is that you know what's in there. How could you possibly not be with her?
I didn't say that.
I don't believe her. I don't know this person, but I don't believe that. I'm like, there's no way that's possible. We haven't said 2 words to this girl.
Let's try and attack Torrens intelligence. Roll 1 die 20, and you're trying to hit an 11. Let's see if you can persuade her and you get a boon.
Well, that is an 18 without a boon. So
Nice.
So just so I know going forward, because I got to remember the way that it works, your modifiers are, it's your base stat minus 10 is the modifier, right?
That's exactly right. That's
Okay,
right.
so mine is 10, so minus 10 is 0, so it's just a straight 18 plus whatever that boon was, but it doesn't matter because that's past 11.
You've succeeded, yeah. So she looks back at you for a moment. Huh. You look like you served time in the army.
On the Black Isle, yes.
I think a lot of respect for the Black Isle. So if you don't know, why is she saying that? I mean, we brought you in here because you and your partner here started wailing on the guards.
I wouldn't say wailing. I'd say more defending.
She looks at you with some hard eyes because she is one of the people you punched.
Good.
She looks hard eyes. Well, you get a pass for the moment, but your friend is staying right here.
Didn't actually say that he knew. I didn't actually.
She gives you another punch. So take 1 point of damage from the beating here that has been going on here, and you can also try again to use exhaust enemy to get her from fatigued to impaired. If you want to try again.
I mean, at this point, Tati's just like, I don't know why he's so mean to me, but, you know, it's not really nice, and I'm gonna roll. Ooh, that's only, I mean, that doesn't succeed. That's only like a 6. So.
Nice. So you aren't as successful. She's fatigued, but she's still got plenty in her. And we're gonna bounce outside. Actually, Jaddiah, do you want to make an action?
I was gonna ask, is our hands the only ones that are strapped down right now?
Yeah. This isn't. You're not in a proper jail cell. There was a scuffle at the docks. People are brought in here. They're getting tied up, and they're just getting some questions getting answered. Clearly, though, that their interest in this pack, you're not dumb. So this is tied into something bigger. The Bone Army's not showing up. This is your hometown, right? Storm Point. Okay. You know that this isn't some like just an illegal goods thing. There's something there, something suspicious.
I want to do something. All right. I am going to. Jaddiah is gonna kind of still kind of hold by the vines and just be like, "Oi, think you get pleasure of beating up on someone who's weaker than you, eh? Is that where you feel powerful, huh? Why don't you pick on someone your own size?"
She says, "I'd be happy to." Torin comes over and big meaty fist with bone bracers, wham, slams right into your face. Take a point of damage.
Okay.
And that split your lip.
That's fine.
This is
That's fine.
I'm okay with that.
Outside of the lock house, we have Petra and Camilla. And what's been happening to you is there has been something in the sky chasing you. You know that there's been somebody with a particular contract out on your name, Petra. A particular contract for a forgery that has been underway. And it so happens that you thought this might have been a fictitious, but the assassin they sent is no chump. It is a wyvern knight from Sky City. And so this woman is essentially has arrived here at Storm Point, where she's been chasing you down to, and she's above you in the sky, beating down on you as you're running down the street. And what's in front of you is the lock house. And you know that's a safe harbor in some ways. It's like running into the police station, if you will. And this wyvern knight it's a small, lean wyvern. This isn't a super experienced one, but this is a deadly woman, living shield, crystal lance, and she's cruising through the air towards you. As you're running down the street, people are sort of scattering out of the way, and you see this lock house ahead of you. And you would like to say that you are justified in all the things you've done, but you know that's not the case. And it's unlikely this wyvern knight is going to back down. So I'm going to roll a countdown dice, and you essentially have two actions that you can take between the two of you before she's upon you, right? So she's out of range for the moment. She's got a lance. So you have two choices you can make, whether you make them both or both of you make one before she's upon you. But that's what you see in front of you. That's what's in the sky behind you, and your past has come to meet up with you.
How close is she to us at this point?
Master Smash is about 120 feet away.
And how far are we from the lock house?
About the same distance.
Oh, good. We're in the
We're
middle.
fast. We can run.
You are Sky people from Sky City, so you are the fastest when it comes to speed. Yeah, you have the 12 speed. You guys are quick. That is true.
We'll run or fight.
Actually, Camilla at this point, she will, she'll say, "Go!" Stop in the middle of the street, and Camilla is going to try to wait, try to let Petra go and get to safety, and she is going to take one of her Blythe daggers.
Okay.
And she is going to try to slow this person down.
Wow.
I'm going.
Noble.
I'm
And
leaving you.
And there's
Don't
no
get attached.
hesitation.
Absolute zero hesitation. I don't even turn and look. I'm just
Like,
this is like the third time this has happened this month. It's fine. It'll be fine.
this is a Tuesday.
This is a Tuesday for us.
Yep.
Nice. So you race towards the lockhouse, Petra. You're in a full sprint here. You even give a big, epic leap, which sends you about 100 feet in one go. And as you leap through the air, people on the street see you and have to take a step back because it's always a wow factor for anybody not from Sky City to see somebody move through the air like that. Boom, you land like Batman's sister in front of the doors, and there's a guard there waiting right outside. He levels his spear. He's not sure what you're up to. You can tell he's a militia member, but he levels the spear. He sees the Wyvern Knight in the back. He's not sure how this is coming together. Who goes there?
Please help. They're just attacking. I don't know what they did. They're going to kill my friend. Can't you see? She's so defenseless and old.
I mean, we do have a mighty fine party of 350-year-olds, which is that's not old. It's just you've been around. The guard looks at you for a second, looks up at the Wyvern Knight. He's debating for his own life. Yeah. Do you want to try and persuade him?
Yes. Please, sir, you're so big and strong. I think you're the only one who can help. What do I roll to make this happen?
So roll 1d20. You're attacking his intelligence, which is 9, so you just need 9 or better, and you're using your intelligence, so you would get whatever bonuses you have there.
19 plus 1, so 20.
Boom. He is this part of him he didn't even know existed inside of him pops up to the surface. You're right. Get inside. He throws open the door. Incoming! And just shoves you inside to the lock house and shuts the door behind you. He kind of stands there for a second, looks at the night. What was I thinking? So, Camilla, we're to you here. So that's one action. So you have one action left until the night is upon you. People are fleeing out of the way around you on this cobblestone street. It's this red, beautiful cobblestone, and this green wyvern is such a contrast against it, and it's coming towards you. People are scattering out of the way, and you're the only one standing there. So why don't you make a willpower challenge roll? So you just need to roll 1d20. You need 10 or better, and it's your willpower modifier, because you're going to see if the wyvern fear takes you over.
I rolled an 11, and my will is 10, so I have +0, so it's just an 11.
Great. So you feel the fear of this wyvern hit you. You're on the verge of wetting pants, but not quite there. Heart is definitely 170, 180. It shouldn't be at that, but you still have your wits about you. You have one last chance before the wyvern's upon you. Are you gonna make any choices and take any action?
I am. But my action is gonna be basically to wait. So what my plan is I have this living whip that can grapple someone. And so my plan is to, using my war expertise and my background, is to wait for the perfect moment and to basically whip them out of the air and grapple them. So that I can make a run for it at the first chance I get.
I see. So you're going to whip her with your living whip.
Yep.
Hopefully grapple her, pull her off the knight. Pull her off the wyvern, right? And then make a run for it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, normally you would get a bane to try to entangle somebody, but I agree. I think you've Your strategy in this moment, also as a vanguard in your war profession, would give you a boon. So you're just you're just at even. So roll 1 die 20. This is now a proper attack roll.
All right.
So you are waiting in defense. This knight is screaming down at you. She's yelling something here. Muscles are poised.
Yeah.
Lance is coming. In her mind, she's living in her own cinematic movie right now.
Yeah.
She's already telling this story to friends back at the pub, you know,
All right.
as she's coming towards you. And roll 1 die 20.
It's not great.
Gonna feel real bad if you die, but
It's
my
fine.
character won't.
It's fine. I rolled a 5, so I'm probably gonna die, but it's fine.
And so
Don't
you
get attacked.
leap. The wyvern is coming close. You leap out and you swing that vine at her, and she just looks at it, and it goes right in front of her eyes. She didn't even have to dodge. You know, her cinematic moment is ruined. But then she hurls her lance. Not her finest moment either. The lance goes right beside you and sticks in the ground to the left of you, and the wyvern is now, 20 feet within close range of you right now. And we're back to the beginning of the action. So you can do two things. You can do what they call a fast action, which means you attack, or a slow action, which means you move and then attack, or if you were going to retreat such as that, you can just use that as a fast action and run like hell.
Yeah, I'm hoping that because her weapon is stuck in the ground, that she's going to be distracted for like a split second. So I'm booking it towards the
lockhouse.
And
Okay.
I'm actually going to I'm going to try to jump the distance.
Okay.
To
You got it.
To the prison.
Okay. So you're going to make a heroic leap. Now, because you are essentially retreating, she gets what they call a triggered action. Because you're running away, she gets one chance to get you. So let's see here.
Can I also?
What's your defense? Go ahead.
Oh, can I also use my vital advice, knowing that she's probably gonna knowing that she probably is gonna try to hit me, to roll out of the way, out of reach before I do it, to give her a bane on that triggered action?
Dingo, that's exactly what you can do. Boom. So she uses, you run, that triggers her action. Then you trigger your action, right, to give her negative vital advice.
Yep.
And so she rolls, so roll 1 die 6 for the bane. And what's your defense?
My defense is 12.
Okay, so she rolled a 13, so you got to roll 2 or better.
I rolled a 4.
Boom. So she hurls a dagger quickly at you as you're leaping away. You bend as much as your 50-year-old back will let you. Slips right past you.
Not much. Ow. Probably some
Slips
Kraken.
Right
Throws it
past
out middle.
you. And you manage to distract her, and you are racing towards the door. And the Wyvern Knight sees now where you're headed. That's not a place where even she can go.
Yep.
And she stops there, and as you look over your shoulder, she's just standing there. Wind is whipping her long hair, and she's sitting there. You can see her living buckler on her arm, and she's got dead eyes locked on you. She'll be back. She'll be back.
I just, as I run in the door, I'm like, better luck next time, and I just run in.
Nice. So without the guard at the door, just opens the door for you because he has no idea what the heck is going on right now. And he just sees the wyvern and he's just like, get in. Stands back in front of the door. We're back inside.
Into the garden. That was so brave of you. Thank you so much. And I turn to Camilla while he can't see, and I'm just like,
He'll be. He's already playing in his mind this story to tell at the pub later as well. How he saved you from the wyvern. Yeah, it's already there.
Yeah, and in blue, Camilla just says, he tried.
So as you guys step in, you now realize, to your shock, that Gary and Jaddiah are here in this same lockhouse. It seems like you only encounter these two guys when you're in the middle of almost getting killed. And you see them tied up, and Jaddiah and Gary, you see them, and what? How can you possibly? Be here.
Can I say like, oh, looky here. The good, bad, and now the ugly just arrived. How you doing, Beth?
So Torin turns around. What the hell is going on in here? She walks over to the guard who let Petra in. What? I'm interrogating someone. This is focus work. What is this distraction? He's trying to find answers and they just aren't coming because he can't just say, well, she was really pretty and so I let her in. So he just goes, Wyvern. She just gives him a long eye. Go back outside and watch the door. You two ladies over there against the wall.
As we go to walk against the wall, I say to Camilla in blue, so prison riot? How fast can we start a prison riot? Riot.
I'd say probably immediately.
I think we can do it.
Nice. So you're now seeing what's laid out here. So you can see Totty. This is your first time meeting her as well, too. You see this, what seems like a fairly defenseless woman here who's just been beaten. And
Hello.
by the blood on Torin, the woman running the operation, it's kind of clear who's been doing it. There's a couple of the Bone Army here and a member of the militia, and this is what you're see walking into. So now we're all here in the same arena here. So Totty, I'm gonna pitch it back to you. Are you gonna take an action or make a choice here?
Well, I mean, she's asking me about what's in the bag, and Totty says, I don't particularly know exactly what's in the bag. I mean, it's probably bug stuff, bug guts, everything. And, but yeah, I don't think you're gonna find any information here. But if you continue all this in my face and your fist to my face, I think you're gonna have a really bad time. And I would like to roll. Okay, so she has abilities with what was it? She's like a murderer.
Yes, your former profession was a murderer.
Yeah, so one of her professions is a murderer, which I think is great. So I would really like to roll some kind of
wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing.
I think it's so great. So I would really like to roll to kind of like intimidate her a bit. With that.
You're gonna try and intimidate her. So I would say that you have 2 Banes to do that. You would get 1 boon from your murder, so you have 1 Bane still. But that's gonna be tough. And how are you gonna do this? Are you gonna like try to like stand up and like get in her face and spit blood on her? Or are you gonna try and say something? What's kind of your plan?
I think she's like, I think you're gonna have a really bad time. And she opens up her mouth a bit and some bugs come out.
Nice.
It's like,
nice. So roll 1 die 20. Roll 1 die 20.
Okay. Okay, so I rolled a 12 on the die.
Gotcha. And then you have 1 Bane, so roll 1 die 6.
4.
Okay. So you open your mouth and the bugs start to creep out of your mouth here, and she takes a step back and says, whoa. She says to you, listen, we're gonna gut you if that's what it takes to get this off you. She looks around at the other guys in the room. We'll wait. When Crescian gets here, the final decision will be made. I'm done talking to this slop here. This vermin, insect eating, whatever this monstrous thing is. I'm done talking here. When Crescian shows up, we're going to get this handled. And if we have to cut her open to get it, we're getting it done.
Well, that's not very nice to talk about.
Torin storms out of the room here. And so you guys know we have as she's going storming out of there, one of the guards asks her a question, and then that you can hear that in 3 rounds, that's everybody getting an action, Crescian will show up. He says Crescian's going to be here in 15, 20 minutes. So you essentially have 3 rounds of choices before crushing whoever that is going to show up. So, Totty, let's kick it back over to Gary. What are we feeling here, Gary? Your fatal flaw is getting racked right now. You want to be one of these guys, and now they're here beating people. You know, you're tied up with vines wrapped around you. What are you gonna do?
I'm looking for a fight. I want to fight so bad, but like I can't necessarily because I want to be. So how many people now that Torn is left? How many guards are left in here with us?
So there's essentially three guards, right? So the way it works out is Gary, you and Jaddiah are tied up. Totty's tied up. However, Petra and Camilla are not tied up per se.
Okay.
And in fact, one of the guards is kind of questioning you, like, you can't stay here, ladies. This isn't really a site for you. And he's trying to usher you out of the place. So that's the setting of where you're at right now.
So most of the attention is on them. Can I try? Would it be just a strength roll to try to just straight up beef out of these? Just like rip them out of the wall? Is that a thing you can try to do?
I would say these are probably beyond just sheer strength of just
okay.
They'd be kind of like trying to break a metal chain or something, or a very thick rope.
Okay.
You can give it a try. Just the difficulty number I would say is a 20.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It would be like you in real life trying to break a cable just by pulling on it. It's
so yeah, I got it. That's unreasonable. Then I guess still in my mind to Jaddiah, I'll just be like, it's those two from before. We could probably get their help, but don't start a fight. And there's like a wink in the mind. However you wink with your brain.
Just say you're winking, like, I wink. You get
wink.
You just hear like a ding. There's like a dinging sound. Ding. It's like, I got you.
And a semicolon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I think I'm just gonna say that to him, and then maybe like, with my head, if I can get the attention of Camilla or Petra, just kind of be like, just something to let them know, like, hey, I recognize you and I know you're here. Do something.
I'm gonna try.
So, Jaddiah, are you taking this cue in any way? Are you going to try and lure someone over? What's kind of your thought here? Because right now your fatal flaw is at max volume, right? It's saying you just want to rage right now.
Yeah.
And you need to escalate. I'm saying I'm calling out your fatal flaw, and you have to escalate this situation in some way. But if you choose to do that, you get a seeker point, or you can try and resist it by making a will check. But I'm calling your fatal flaw out. There's no way you would stand for this.
I don't think Jaddiah would actually. He's gonna call over one of the guards and try to get their attention. And when they get close to him, he's just gonna like pick himself up from the vines and just kick, like donkey kick them into like the cage.
There's nothing like a donkey kick to handle your fatal flaw.
Yeah.
So you get a seeker point for doing that, which you can then use, to give yourself a boon at some point along the way. But you gave in, and boy, that devious mind of yours gets working, and the rage starts pumping, and it feels like home.
Great.
So roll one out of 20. Roll one out of 20 real quick here. You're just gonna make a simple intelligence roll to try and get this guard to get close to you.
Okay. Okay. So I got a straight 16.
Gotcha. So that you know that what you're dealing with here is there's 2 Bone Army people, just to get real specific, and 2 just militia members, right? Clearly the Bone Army people are the tougher. And are you calling over a militia member or a Bone Army member? Now these are low on the totem pole Bone Army people, mind you, but they're tougher.
I'm going to, just for the sake of Gary, and not to give Gary a bad name, I'm gonna call over one of the militia people instead. I'm gonna have him call over. Just, one of you get over here. This putrid of a man reeks. I'm gonna throw up all over myself, and I don't get away from him.
The militia member who you throw this at, he just gets kind of agitated. And he's like, "Would you shut your mouth? You're not even being talked to right now. You're lower than the dirt. You're lower than the dust." And he's getting right in your face. You kind of get him excited, and he's enjoying his abuse of power in this moment. And now he's right in your face, and
Can I use my exploit weakness?
you absolutely can.
All right, so I'm gonna roll to attack him.
And are you trying to just like pulverize him? Are you trying to like tie up your legs around his neck? Like, what's kind of your goal with it?
Oh, I just want like all this rage and all this, just seeing this little innocent girl get pummeled kind of reminded me of something, and I didn't like it. And I just want to just let out all of my energy just through my feet and just nail this dude. So
Reminded you, yes, of your daughter. And
yeah.
so roll 1 die 20, and you would definitely get a boon for that.
Okay. This is insane. Okay. 6. So I got a total of. So I add my strength to
Strength
it and the
bonus,
boon, correct? Okay.
Yep.
So I got a total of 18.
So you leap up like this is some dino martial arts moment. This is something you'll be telling about people in the pub later. And so
Okay.
you leap up and boom, this is a drop kick, full on WWE drop kick, both feet to the guy's head. Boom.
Ooh.
So roll 1 die 6, and you're gonna half it for damage.
Okay.
And he's got to make.
Sick. Half it, you said?
Yep.
Okay, so I got a 6, so that'd be 3. But since my exploit
Nice.
weakness happens, I deal an extra 2d6.
That's exactly right. So roll
Okay.
2 die 6.
And do I half those or no?
No, that's not half.
Okay.
It's just half because you're just you don't have a physical weapon. You're just
Right, okay. So this one, all right, that's not bad. So I did a total of 7 points.
Boom. So when you leapt up there and you hit that, your heel drove right in, broke his jaw, his nose went to the other side of his face, and you whipped back around with your shin right across his collarbone. It broke. He dropped to his knees. A tooth popped out on the ground here in front of you, and that was not just some barnyard fight. That nearly killed this man. He is on his knees, and instantly the other guards are whirling around. No one knows what to do. One of the Bone Army members starts yelling for Torin, kind of like he's running to chase after her because she's just left just a second ago. So one of the Bone Army's running, one is there, and the militia member is whipping around with his bone spear. He doesn't know what to do just yet.
Okay.
All right. So I guess who hasn't gone yet? Yeah, Petra and Camilla haven't gone yet here. So Petra and Camilla, the ball's in your court.
Well, I want to keep this as many people as possible. So what I would do is go after the Bone Army guy to try to stop him from leaving.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
my instinct is to like block the door with you.
got it. So he's running. He touches these like hanging vines, and they part waves, right? Because we're here in Storm Point, which has lots of plant weaver affection on it. And the vines part. He's pushing through. There's another set of vines he's got to tap to open to get through. He's running. So you have a triggered action you can take to try and. So are you help me out with this, Petra? Are you trying to like tackle him? And Camilla, are you trying to like physically tackle him, or what are you trying to?
I'm gonna probably, because my whip has reach 2, so I'm probably gonna try to grapple him again probably gonna use my whip again.
All right, we'll roll 1 die 20. And you need 14 or better.
That was a 12.
Gotcha. So it whips around, it hits him, but he has that Horok armor, that heavy Horok armor, and the whip tries to entangle around his chest, but it does not give in, and he just bursts through it. Petra.
I roll my eyes and I take my Vasha, is that what it's called? The Sky City weapon?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that has like a little bit of reach to it, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like disgruntledly try and reach out and swipe his legs with it.
Nice. Okay. So boom, you're extending it out, and essentially, pole arm style thing that like you're gonna use to take his legs out. So roll 1d20.
16.
All right. Boom. And roll because you're essentially trying to knock him down, right?
Yes.
With this. So roll 1d6 and it's a bane to do a specific action like that to cause an affliction. You get a bane.
2.
So boom. So you still do it. So wham, you swing that lengthy weapon out, which is now light in your hands, and boom, his legs go out from underneath him, and he slams down into the ground, slides into the vine door, but doesn't get through it. All right. So now it's their turn. Okay. So the one Bone Army member, he just charges straight for Jaddiah, right? He's like, this guy is bad news, right? Bone Army charges for you. Militia member charges for you because that was his friend you just nearly killed. And he is coming at you, and unfortunately, he gets a boon to hit you because you can't move too well.
That is correct.
You boom. Gotcha. So what's your defense?
10.
Gotcha. So he does 2 points of damage. He slashes you with his bone spear, and he gets you pretty good. It's a little embarrassing that he's trying to go after an entangled man, but he's just mad at you. Boom.
Okay.
So then the next militia member who you nearly killed, he charges at you with his spear. Oh, he also gets a hit, and he does 3 damage to you with his spear. So you're not taking 5 damage.
Yep.
So, and the way that works is when your damage equals your health, you don't necessarily die, but you fall unconscious.
Right.
And then you roll 1d6, and if you can get 3 evens before you get 3 odds, you don't die. If you do get the 3 odds, then you're up.
That's brutal.
That is.
So you are in it. Okay. And so then the one Bone Army member, he's going straight for Petra. He sees that weapon and he goes straight for you, right? And he's got a bone axe, and this guy's got a shield. He's tough. What is
So
your defense,
over today,
Petra?
my defense is 14.
Okay. Oh, so he delivers an 18. So he delivers. Okay. Ooh. So he delivers 7 points of damage with this battle axe. He boom plows into you. It knocks you across the room. It cuts right through that beautiful chitinous armor. You got blood everywhere. You that took some time off the back end. Yeah.
Yep.
Boom.
Yes, it did.
You're smeared across the floor.
I am sorry, everyone.
And then so it's time for Gary. Gary, you are also in the same boat that
times.
Jaddiah is, but you cannot not fight. You have to escalate this situation. Your fatal flaw is triggered. You're like, I have to now. This is what I live for. Despite the fact that you want to impress the Bone Army, your fatal flaw is just not letting you back down from this.
I gotcha. To me, this isn't what the Bone Army is. Like, this is wrong. They can't just treat people like this. So yeah, I will give in to that and I'll join the fight. Although a little part of me is like, oh god, this is a horrible idea.
I will have lost everything I've worked for. So what do you want to try and do?
I gotta get off the wall, and I'm trying to think of the best way. Like, maybe. What's the wall made out of? Like, what is the material that the vines are like into? Is it like a stone? Is it? Oh, it's definitely not metal because there's no metal here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, it's not metal. So this is a Bone Army establishment, right? So that it has huge, like almost dinosaur-like bone elements that are mingled with these plant elements. So it's like, imagine you have these living vines that are once again like the pumping this fluids around it, and there's this bone structure. So it's
That's
quite
so
the
cool.
fort.
Okay, would it be more feasible if I did the opposite of what Jaddiah did? So he did the drop kick forward. If I drop kicked off the wall, is there a chance I could rip? Like I'd still be like bound, but I could at least get off the wall with it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's throw 1d20. Let's see if you can do it.
All right. That is a 17 flat, and then would that be strength?
So it'd be strength modifiers. Yeah, it'd be strength modifiers to that, and you might be called to one of your professions for a boon. But
okay, it'd be a +3, so it's a like 20 total. And my profession may be as an agitator, because we're agitating some things.
I don't know that I would buy that you were agitating, but 21 is enough. You
okay.
Burst the vines out of the wall. The possibility is that fluid sprays everywhere. As you whip around, the Bone Army member, the Militia member sees, this has gotten this is wildly out of control, and they're outnumbered. So, Totty, ball's in your court.
Yes. Totty is definitely looking around and going like, well, you're definitely more exciting than I thought. All right. Okay. All right. I can do this. Okay, Tata. And she's gonna summon her swarm.
Nice. It spills out.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice. And so, are you gonna send it to? Essentially, you could surround the militia members and the Bone Army members with it. They're within range, so they would all have everybody gets a boon to attack them, and okay, great.
I think that's what I'm gonna do.
You just puff up those cheeks, and you gotta give this screech, and then what looks like about 25 bees' nests worth of vicious June bugs, burst out of your buns and surround these soldiers. And this is not what they saw coming. They are spinning it. They're snapping. Their eyes are getting bit at. These things, you know how the flies sometimes crawl on the edge of your eye. They're crawling on the edge of their eyes. Yeah. They're going up their nose. They can't even think about anything.
I apologize to the group. I turned to them. I'm so sorry about that. I know it looks weird, but believe me, I'm trying to help. And just let it happen. Don't fight it.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. So then that is, I think the Bone Army's gone, Militia is gone. You're now down to 2 rounds before Crescian shows up. So we'll take it back here to the you can have your swarm deliver damage if you want to a specific one, or are you trying to create a crowd, are you trying to just get the whole group? I should have asked that.
Yeah, okay, so I guess the question is, the one that hit Petra, that one looked like a big beefy boy, right? Big beefy boy?
The one that hit Petra is the beefy boy, yeah.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go after that one, because that one definitely, I think Totty was sitting there and just saw all the blood. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I'll go after that one. And it's going to send the swarm towards that one and do the damage.
Boom, okay, all these June bugs just invade this person, and they don't, they fail their agility. Okay, and so this delivers 6 points of damage to that Bone Army member, which is devastating. It's crawled down inside of his armor. He's wanting to take it off. Blood is starting to kind of gush out some of the joints in the armor because the bugs are chewing in at him. He's screaming his mind off. All right. So I guess we're back to you, Jaddiah.
So I am currently stabbed by 2 people, correct?
Yeah, you're 2 on 1 and you're chained. I mean, this is the losing battle.
I'll help you later.
It's fine, I got it.
You sure? Are you sure?
I was born for this.
Trust me. Fetch, man.
Love that you said that word.
Thanks.
I mean, the militia member is still right in front of you, so you can try to do an exploit weakness again. and just try and finish him off? I mean, they're within
Sure,
range of you.
let's just donkey kick this dude in the face again. Why not? You know, I'm angry.
Yeah. All right, roll
Oh.
1d20.
Yeah, I missed. I got a 1.
All right, so you. Oh, and did you try to do exploit weakness?
Yeah.
So, see, roll because you get a bane right when you attack with exploit weakness.
Oh no!
Oh God!
So if you get
Oh,
below
no!
0, so if you get a 2 or above, you're gonna face plant. So roll
Oh
one
my
dice.
God.
Oh no!
We're
Did
gonna
the-
die in the first scene, guys.
Did the bugs
how
give
it
him a
goes.
boon that might cancel that out, or did that not work?
No, she sent them to attack the bone army.
Oh,
guy.
gotcha. Okay.
And so,
yeah.
and so the yeah.
Ryan, I'm sorry, man.
5.
Ah!
So you leap up for this epic drop kick. Except you know how in WWE when they miss with the drop kick, it then hurts. That's you. You miss and you just go right back down on your back. Oof, hitting the floor. So next turn you're impaired, so you'll have a bane next round. But this is one of your moments that you're not telling other people about in the pub later.
I'm
All right.
telepathically talking to Gary right now. Like, dude, I don't know what's going on right now. I usually do really well.
Yeah,
I'm having a day.
I point at the first guy who's like all pretty dead on the floor. I'm like, Jaddiah, that kills people.
Carl.
Nice. So go ahead and take it away. So Gary, you take the next action. You're free now. Your Buster sword is you could run to go get it, and then you could attack at the end. But it's crossed on the other side of the room.
I need to get Jaddiah out because he's getting his crap kicked in. So maybe I'll go grab the Buster sword, and I'm going to try to use it to cut him free if I can attack that. So yeah.
Boom. So you're running. You're going to go get your Buster sword. Okay. And then after the guys go, then you'll get your second half action. So Petra.
Is the guy who stabbed me real hard still alive?
He is. He's the one that got the bugs. The bugs are crawling in his eyes.
Great, I think I could take him out. So yeah, I'm like using my Vasha, which I don't think we described what that is, but it's like a big, long, spiky polearm thing that Sky City folk use. So I like use it to prop myself up and yank myself off the floor and like swipe the blood off of me and say, "Don't you know who the fuck I am?" And I'm gonna roll and attack him with my Vasha.
Nice.
What do I do for that?
So roll 1d20.
Okay. 20.
And,
Well,
Ah.
that's nice.
so what you can choose to do, so in this moment you can add an impairment to them, such as like make them prone or something to that effect, like knock them down, or you can add an extra d6 of damage.
I think I'm gonna add the extra d6 of damage because he seems
All right.
kind of rough. So do I roll
He is kind of rough.
2d6
2d6
for damage?
now. Yep.
All right. 11.
Boom. So you rear back with this Vasha, and imagine it's this long pole that gets thicker at the end with some Blice crystals in the end of it. So it's almost like this long, almost like a Japanese Tetsubo. And you leap, do this spin around, and you swing this thing. And right as he pops his head up from dealing with these insects, boom, and his head goes right off of his body. And his body stands there headless for a moment, almost as if he wanted to say one more thing. And then boom, he's out.
And I kick his body and I say, "That's who I am." And then like go back to like bleeding out and like leaning heavily on my weapon.
Amazing. So Camilla,
Yeah.
what about yourself?
Camilla is like, we need to go, like now. And so Camilla is going to what would it does it take my whole action to try to untie Totty? Or to free
Yeah, it would take your whole action, because she's not just like loosely bound. It's those living vines. You'd have to start cutting into them. It's work. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will use my Blice daggers, one of my Blice daggers, to cut Totty free.
Gotcha. So you don't know this woman, but you're freeing her and forever tying yourself to her problems. So you get in there and you start working away. Same thing. You cut through these vines, the fluid's spraying out at you.
And
you
as
get
I'm,
through
I
it.
want to be very clear. As I'm doing it, I'm like, I don't really want to touch you because you're a groundling, but like, I don't. I guess I will do it.
Oh, don't mind the bugs, you know.
No, it's not the bugs. The bugs are fine, but you're like bound to the ground. What is that? Can you do anything? Whatever. It doesn't. That's matter. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
What, legs?
Just likes
what are you
people.
talking about?
Boom! At that moment, right as you say, "What are you talking about?" She cuts the next vine, Totty. Some fluid sprays in your face, but you're free. You're free, but for you, you like it. Insect weavers. So what do you have an action now?
You talking to like me, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
You're free
sorry.
now, so you can take an attack. You can try and run. You can,
I
whatever you would
mean-
like to do.
Okay, so I still have like my swarm is out, right now.
Yeah, your swarm is out. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So I stand up and I like put my arms out. I'm like, okay, come back. It's okay. Everything's fine. And she turns around and sees like Jaddiah just like all messed up, and it's like, okay, well, I guess we should help with that one too. And she's gonna send her swarm out to kill whatever last militia. Like, there was one guy left, or is there two?
There's two militia heads. One's almost dead, and one hasn't been hit yet.
Okay, the one that hasn't been hit yet, is that the one that's been like stabbing away?
They both have been stabbing away at Jaddiah. They've been shish kebabbing this guy. He's been
Okay, I think she looks at Jaddiah as like this big guy, and it's just like, you could probably take the bloody one, and she's gonna take her swarm and turn it towards the guy that isn't hurt yet.
Okay. So roll 1d6.
Okay. 3.
Boom. They're all over this guy. He is in a mess. Things biting in his eyes. The whole deal is a mess. Now it switches to the Bone Army's turn. So the one guy who was running away, he pushes through the vines and he makes it out of the lockhouse. So this guy is gone. And the two wounded militia members that are there look at each other. They realize that the tide has turned. The Bone Army's out. They turn tide and run. So you guys have a chance to take a triggered action to try and stop them, throw a dagger, or something that has to be fast to go after them. And we'll start with you, Gary, because you will now imagine that you're a sword. And you can take a triggered action.
Does it have to be to go after them, or can I use that action to cut Jaddiah free?
You can use it to. Your triggered action in this case, it has to be triggered by their action, which is so it has to be tied into their retreat. It can't be something else.
As much as I want to take that action, I just don't think Gary's doing that. Gary is trying to get the sword and get Jaddiah out so we can like move on. So yeah, I wouldn't take a triggered action in that scenario probably.
No worries. So Jaddiah, you have a chance though. The guy who was in front of you, who you drop kicked the first time, he's trying to get away from you. You can take a pot shot at him.
I'm just face down on sure, why not? What do I gotta lose at this point? Nothing.
All right. So roll 1d20. Now you've got a obviously a bane from your failed attempt, but you have a boon to hit the guy because he's running away and his back's to you.
So I roll two separate.
Just roll 1d20. Just roll 1d20 because they balance each other out.
Oh, I got a straight 11 then.
Boom. So with the militia guy, the guy who you wounded, you score a hit. Roll 1d6 and half it.
3.
Nice. So so as you give him a kick to the back of the head as he's running away, that's all it took. His neck snaps and he goes face down on the stone. So albeit beat up, you are still a threat. So Petra and Camilla, what about you guys?
There's the one guy just still running.
So there's a Bone Army member and a militia member who are running out the door.
Okay. Yeah, I'm leaning on my Vasha. I'd like flip it up at one of them as they run by, I'd try to aim for their tendons and like get their tendons in the back of their leg.
So there's only one person that's close to you is the militia member. The Bone Army member you'd have to throw something at him, but you can try for this militia person.
Yeah, I actually didn't even mean to say both of them, but yeah, I'll aim for whoever's close enough to try and get swept with a giant pike. So D20 attack.
Yep.
And I will. Is vital advice? Doesn't say that there's is there a limit on how much I can use that?
Unlimited. So you can use it right now. So you could use your triggered action instead of trying to attack these guys. You could use it to help Petra.
I'll do that.
I got an 18.
Well, roll. Okay. And then add a boon to that. So you clearly deliver. So roll 1d6 for your damage.
5.
Boom. Once again, this guy is running away, turns around, and you, boom, that Vashish comes by, knocks the head off of the guy, and he slumps down.
Awesome.
This lock house has gone from this white, clean bone and vine establishment to Christmas colors with green and red and white. And it is a mess of things. The last person who has an action is Totty. If you were going to throw something that has to be at least medium range, you could in theory try and hit the Bone Army person running out the door of the whole building.
Okay, well she does have some bone daggers.
Go for it.
So I think she's gonna try to hit the tendons as well. Try to put them down.
So that gives you a bane for this attack. So roll 1d20 and then roll a bane.
Okay. Oh, natural 20. And then bane is 2.
So 18, it's a boom. You nick the guy's tendon, roll 1d6 and then half it for your damage.
1. I got a 2.
Gotcha. So 1. So he takes a cut, but it's not enough to stop this guy. And boom, he blows through the door of the lock house and he's out.
I tried.
So you guys are wounded. You started this with a bang, didn't you? You're wounded. You're messy. You now, in the defense of Totty, are certainly wanted all now for murder. That's clear. And here in the lock house to kill militia members is punishable by death. And here is where you stand. So so you have another round of actions that you can take. Before Christian, so to speak, shows up, or who knows if these people running out have changed that. The way this is assembled is you have a bigger room where you're in right now that has a smaller cell in the center. You guys are, amongst the wall with the vines you were, and then there's a smaller tunnel a smaller passageway that leads into a smaller front room where as you guys are coming in, you noticed some peculiar safes, and there's some weapon racks and some bunk beds, and it's kind of that's where the Bone Army stations their people here. So what are you guys doing?
Was I able to cut him loose in that?
Yes.
Okay.
Chop. Tell us how this happens, Gary. Tell us how this happens.
Was I still bound? I couldn't remember. I broke off the wall, but I'm still like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I kind of get it, and I go up and I cut Jaddiah down, and I assume he's kind of slumped, and I'm just kind of trying to grab by the shoulders, be like, "Come on, you gotta get up, man. You gotta get up. We gotta go."
I'm going. Yes. Is it possible? I don't know what your thought is, but I do have that hidden blade assassin bone. Would I be able to activate it and cut the vine off? Oh, cool.
Totally.
So I'm just gonna, now that it's weakened, I'm gonna cut that and then go over to Gary and cut his off.
Boom. So you two are free. If only that assassin blade a little earlier.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was actually going to cut, so I was like, we'll see.
No, it's awesome, dude. That was great encounter. So, so here's what you got. The big question remains, what's in this backpack that Torin was after, the Bone Army, and what have I gotten myself into? So you guys have one action left before Crescent shows up. What do you guys want to do?
Okay, so I should probably introduce myself. My name is Totty, and people really want, and she gestures to the bag and like, Tata. So, yeah, I don't know what's in it, and unfortunately, you guys kind of got stuck with it as well. Well, they think you know, but anyway, we should get out of here. We should leave. Like, we should go, right?
Yeah, now's not the time to introduce ourselves.
Yeah,
we should head out and then go.
Camilla's already at the door while this is happening. Like, what are you doing?
Get out. So in this area here, you can see kind of in your front area, there is, as you're breaking out, now you can see there are two what look like safe/lock boxes. They're not secure, but they're not necessarily bolted in any sort of way that you recognize. They're bone cabinets with vines wrapping over them that are here in the two corners of the rooms. As far as, and then there's a rack of bone spears, and that's what's here standing in this room, and then the exit door. And outside, you can certainly hear bits of commotion, clearly from bystanders or who knows what's happened outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leaning heavily on Camilla, and we're booking it together.
Yep.
So you're just running out the door?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. Boom. So you guys kick open the doors of the place, and as you pour out into the street here, and as you look around you here, you can see this Crescent down the road they were talking about right there, and it's a platoon of maybe a dozen bone soldiers, and you can see that he's leading this pack. Torin is with him. You can see them down a ways. If you delay long, they'll certainly see and be upon you, but you can see them charging down the road. And that's on your right, and to your left is it looks like some sort of a narrow alley that is like this vine-covered alley. It's this sort of almost like a glistening mucus and moss on it. It sort of slithers down the street, and that's what's standing in front of you, as well as people who are hiding behind things and eyes poking out saying, who are these people? But you've been certainly spotted by the public in this moment.
Left.
Nice. So you guys barrel down the alley. You guys barrel down the alleyway, and as it starts to narrow as you maneuver through this thing, and you must be caught sort of between a chain of buildings. It's like this back alley, and you're passing these doors as you run down this alley, and there's these bioluminescent, what looks like some sort of living organism that has a viscous screen on it, and there's these glowing lights from it. And as you're racing down this alley and you're passing doors, you can hear behind you, they went down the alley. And so clearly bystanders are calling you out. Nobody is your friend. And so you're in this alley, and they know where you are.
They didn't go down the alley.
I was just going to say that.
No, they didn't.
Are any of these are these all doors like to residential areas? Like, what is?
You're in a more of a business district, you would call it, right? This isn't homes, but these could be. You're not even sure. The shops. I mean, you're close to the lock house. It could be all kinds of things, but you are in essentially a business area. So these could be any sort of shop or inn or who knows what. Clatter, 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 clatter. The crowd, you can hear them.
Should we go into one of these doors?
Yeah, I'm looking for a door or a window, like an open window.
If you look down the alley, maybe 20, 30 feet in front of you, there's a younger woman. She's out smoking some sort of reed. The door is slightly open, and she sees you coming, and she kind of throws that away. The door is open behind her. She's like, "Whoa, what's happening?" She can sense trouble is coming. You can see that a little bit ahead in the distance, and then maybe up on another floor. Like imagine the second floor up, you can see one of these windows. And windows here are usually made out of like a membrane, right, from the plants that grow over, so they're translucent, if you will. And it's up on the second floor. And you can see this membranous window up there, and then there's this girl at the end of the alley smoking.
Okay, I'm telling Petra to jump in that window.
Yep. We can jump up and climb. See, yep, I'm already with you. Yep. He's saying I'm already in the air.
I'm like, I like
Nice.
point at it, and I'm like, yep, okay, yep, she got it.
I love it.
And I will keep running with everyone else, and to this girl that was like smoking something, I will pull a pearl out of my bag, toss it to her, and I'll be like, just cutting through, and run like through the door.
Gotcha. So Petra, you're jumping up to the window, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Let's do that first. Okay.
Great.
So
Alone.
so imagine it's 20 feet up. You can make that jump as someone from Sky City, and it's a window that you have to like cut through, right? Like if you can't just it doesn't open per se. But so go ahead and roll 1d20. You're essentially, I'm assuming, kind of dagger or some method to plow through it, or just physically plow through the window.
13?
Yep. Boom. You pop up. You smash through the window. The world goes black for a second. You flop into the room, and you look up, and it's this very low lit room with some lights. There's some moaning going on. Girl pops up out of the bed, and you realize you're in a brothel. She looks
I
at
can
you.
work with this.
That's
The guy
good.
looks. The guy starts. He's just totally panicked, and we'll leave you there for a second.
Great.
And so, Camilla, you've come right to the alleyway entrance. You toss the girl the pearl. She looks at it for a second, lets you guys right on in.
All
Boom,
right.
boom, boom.
Yep.
And what are the rest of you guys? Are you guys all following Camilla, or are you attempting anything else?
I think
No.
I'll just follow it.
Yeah,
we're just
better
gonna
place
follow.
to go.
This is panic.
No.
I don't know what their
Nice.
goal is. My goal is to get back to Petra as soon as possible. So I'm running up. If there's an upstairs, I'm running upstairs, and my plan is to jump from window to window if I can across the alleyway.
Got it. Okay.
Whatever.
So you pour into this, and you immediately realize you're in an inn of some kind. But this is a beautiful purple moss covered inn that you are in here. It paints the walls. It has almost what looks like these mushroom tables that are littered throughout it. There's this nice, soft, warm, luminescent glow. There's some patrons around. A lot of people looking back at you guys as you run in. Not too crazy, but there's some noticing. And so there's this beautiful velvet look to this place. You can see there's maybe a half dozen patrons in here milling around. You do notice one thing in the corner, though. You do notice that you see a shield from one of the bone army shield. It's a Horok shield, so it's like up to here on me, right? And it's got two horns that come out from it. And you can see that leaning in the corner, but you can't necessarily spot who it belongs to. But you do see that there. And does anybody want to make any actions? I know, Camilla, you're heading you're wanting to try and head upstairs, and you can see to the back there is a flight of spiral stairs.
Yep.
That almost look like the inside of a mushroom, right?
Yep.
That whirl up.
I'm just trying to get to wherever Petra is based on
Nice.
how everything's lit up.
Okay, so you're heading that way, and then anybody else making any other decisions?
Jaddiah just trying to blend in. He's going to maybe take off his robe and his cloak, and he's gonna try to tuck it away, and he's gonna try to find a lovely lady and start to make conversation to blend in at the moment.
Gotcha. So you're immediately blending in, and sure enough, there is a lovely lady. She's passing drinks around, and she's dressed just the way you like them, and she starts chatting with you. She does notice the wounds, and there is a part of her that says, she lets you know that they do have a healing cocoon in the back for a modest price. These are cocoons that you literally get into, and they wrap around you, and you get twice your healing rate.
That's sick.
So she lets you know they do have that, and she says, I don't like to ask too many questions, but it's a little more expensive that way. Gary, what about you?
So this place is full of patrons, and we see the shield in the corner, so we know someone here is with the bone.
Yeah.
And I see Jaddiah doing his thing. I'm like, of course. I guess I'm actually gonna run and follow Camilla. In my my bonded mind that I've got with Jaddiah, I'll just be like, I'm going upstairs. Do whatever you're gonna do, I guess, and just I'm gonna follow after her and see wherever they're headed.
Okay. Anybody else making other choices down here in this main area?
Not down.
I am going to actually do like a perception. Like I'm gonna look around.
Make a perception check.
Yeah, I want to see if anybody here is. I'm mostly like reading the room and seeing if anybody eyes us up. That is the militia or like the Bone Army members, and I rolled a 16.
So
I'm
notice,
trying to see it.
Right, you do notice the shield. You're getting plenty of looks, right? Your face is bloody. Your lip is split. You're a mess for sure. So there's some long eyes coming at you. There's nobody that you could pick out as militia per se, but you do notice this shield, and you do notice that there's somebody in the restroom. That there is an occupied sign above it, and that's what you notice.
Okay, that's not good. She is going to probably, because there's like all this moss and stuff around, right?
Yeah, this purple velvety moss.
I think more than anything, she's gonna try to be in the back and blend in. She's not gonna go upstairs because they all went upstairs, but she's gonna keep down here, I think. And
Huddle up
and
next to Jaddiah with your bloody faces.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, she's gonna wait. Is there two washrooms? Is it like a woman's and a men's? Like,
yes, we'll call it that.
Which one's occupied?
The men's.
Then she'll go to the women's.
Yes.
And she's gonna make her face not so messed up.
Nice. So we're back to you, Petra.
Yes.
And the girl gets up. She's reaching for a sheet, and the man pulls it down from her. She's trying to get presentable, and then he's just like, get. And she runs out of the room. He sits back and looks at you. I didn't realize they were delivering them this way. And that's when you see his amber pupils and know this is a chaos wielder. And and what you know from chaos wielders is oftentimes governors recruit these people and keep them in their brothels and slightly drugged so that they can keep them around, because they're kind of these weapons of mass destruction when governors get in political brawls, right? And so they keep chaos wielders in this kind of induced state to prevent, boom, boom, boom. But he looks at you, and you for sure know this is a chaos wielder, and he doesn't bother and cover himself up, but he is very proud that you came in such a way. This theatrics, the tip is going to be amazing this time. You'll have to talk to the governor about that tip, but it will be amazing. Through the window, I'm impressed. I mean, you have this costume and maybe this whole theatrics with the blood. I mean, really, this is very, very impressive.
I am not thrilled that he has judged me so far below my rank. So I'm gonna do the stupid thing and get a smart mouth. I'm like holding myself together. Listen, buddy. I just shanked my last client who touched me wrong. So you're going to back off. You're going to let me follow my friend there out of the room. And you're just going to forget that this happened. I'm not in the mood for this right now. Come back later.
Roll 1d20.
20.
Nice. So he stands up and says, "Huh, that wasn't what I was expecting." And he looks at you for a moment, and then you can see the amber eyes start to glow a little bit, and he's channeling some chaos right now. And you can feel like this. You can feel this. Is the air, the molecules in the air start to move. It's like something is creeping across your skin, right? As he's almost feeling you with his chaos, right? And just going over you and says, "Ah, I see you keep secrets, don't you? Well, I wouldn't want to hold you from your secrets, and I wouldn't want to stop you from meeting Stormcrow while you're here. But best of luck. Best of luck."
Excuse me?
Hope that, yeah?
Stormcrow.
Did I stutter?
You didn't. I'm asking for clarification, not enunciation.
Ah, yes, my gift on the chaos side lets me sneak into the future a bit, if you will, and sneak into the past. And I think you're looking for somebody who it's best not to look for. Stormcrow, as they say, he's only a myth to protect people from trying to find him. He is a chaos wielders, the oldest that we know, and in getting toe to toe with him might be the last thing you do.
I appreciate your advice then, and you've actually been quite respectable given the odd circumstances. Thank you. It's been noted, but as you can tell, I am not averse to getting myself into trouble, and I think I can get myself out of it, so I'm going to go get myself out of this trouble. Thank you, and I'm gonna leave.
He throws one last question. How did you come to know about Stormcrow?
Are you a patron of the arts?
I can be.
A rare painting, then.
A rare painting. And he steps up to you, and he puts his hand on your shoulder, and you feel it before you realize what's happened to you. But he's jabbed a small piece of glass into your shoulder that holds chaos in it.
Okay.
And he says, so take one discord immediately. And he says, I think you're not very nice. And so I'm going to make sure you meet him.
And I take both of my hands, which are covered in blood, and make sure I get a whole bunch of messy ass blood on him while I remove his hand from my shoulder.
Nice. So the piece of glass is still lodged within you, and you can feel this. You can feel it starting to just creep into you. It's kind of like somebody gave you a shot of something. You can feel it spreading in you here, and it's the discord is starting to come. Your essence, you can feel it getting rattled, and you're trying to keep the composure, but this is no joke. Are you gonna head out continue heading out the door?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get out the door, and he gives you a little salute and says, "Enjoy the meeting."
I don't even look back, and I just throw him the middle finger as I keep walking straight down the hall.
Nice. And we will take our break here.
All right.
Nice, guys. Nice. This is awesome. Okay, great. And I guess we're breaking for 15 before I speak it too loud. 15 minutes. All right, guys. We will see you here.
All right, everybody. Welcome back. It's John from the control booth here. before we jump back into the story, we'd like to take this moment when we come back from break to kind of go around the table and remind everybody who we're playing with today. So why don't we start it off with Petra?
Hello, guys. I'm Arkady. You can usually find me hanging out on my Twitter, which is Arkady Cosplay, because surprise, surprise, I am mostly a cosplayer. I know, shocking, right? You can usually find me hanging out on Twitter, making props, costumes, armor. So that's the place to find me if you want to see the cool things that I do.
Fantastic. And Gary.
Hi, everybody. I'm Noctem Skye. I do a lot of stuff here on the Mercenaries of Mischief, especially on the YouTube side. But if you want to see more from just me, you can go over to Noctem Skye on YouTube, where I play video games and do a lot of that kind of stuff. I recently played a lot of Baldur's Gate, and that was a ton of fun. So go check me out there.
Awesome. And our other in-house player today, Camilla.
Hey, it's Nerd Narrative here. I am the production manager here for the Mercenaries of Mischief. Outside of that, we have a couple things I want to note. Trash Bin is our second channel that is for gaming related content. So Phasmophobia, I played Amnesia, all kinds of random stuff going on over there on Tuesday nights. And then Thursday mornings here on this channel, we have our world building show, which is called World Weavers, where we are making a world from scratch. And I think somebody that's on screen here today might show up there tomorrow. So
Might.
Nice.
I just might.
Fantastic. So yes, be sure to check that stuff out for more great content. And our guests today, starting with Totty. For anyone who doesn't know who you are, by some chance.
I'm playing Totty, and I'm Dingo from Dingo Doodles. I do a YouTube channel that makes animated D&D content based off of a campaign I was in called Fool's Gold. You can also find me on other social medias under Dingo Doodles for Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter. Happy to be here.
Thank you. And another of our celebrity guests of the day, Jaddiah. Where can people find you?
Hello, I am One Shot Questers. You can find me literally on any platform under One Shot Questers, but the two biggest places that we're going to be focusing on, especially the start of next year, is YouTube and Twitch. We're going to be posting a lot more content with the sketch comedy we do over on YouTube, and we're going to be posting a lot more shorts. And also over on Twitch, we're going to be starting what we usually do. I DM a bunch of one shots, so every session is a one shot, and I got a group of players. So that way it helps people to just jump in and watch a session without having to be caught up with anything. So we're really excited about that. But just you can find me mostly on YouTube and Twitch.
Fantastic. So yes, everyone be sure to check those out. And last but certainly not least, our wonderful guest of honor who has graced us with an advanced view and play of this game that he and a team of wonderful people have created. Adam, could you tell us a little bit about where they can find Asunder and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so Asunder, the easiest way to get there is bit.ly/Asunder RPG or Asunder RPG on Kickstarter. You can see it there live now. It's awesome. I'm the director and producer of Will Wheaton's Tabletop, as well as Spell Singers and a host of other celebrity geek gaming shows. And I've now created my own game over the last 6 years. Super excited about it, and this cast is awesome. And you can find more stuff about Asunder at Twitter at Asunder World of, or on Instagram at World of Asunder. If you can imagine somehow World of Asunder was not available on Twitter. But that's where you can find me.
Thank you. Fantastic. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, and let's get back into the fun.
Nice. So to take us back in, to bring us back from break, if you remember, we started at this lock house where Totty was being beaten and Gary and Jaddiah were in there. Then Petra and Camilla ran in there for safety and then ended up killing the guards. They ran out and were looking to get this commander named Crescian was supposed to be on their way back. No one knows the answer. Gary is very bummed because he came to Stormpoint to join the Born Army, and now he's killed a member of them. Heartbroken. Then you guys took off evaded the bone army, ran down an alley where Petra leapt into a window where she encountered, she realized she was in her brothel, and that she was face to face with the chaos wielder, who jabbed a piece of chaos glass into her shoulder, and she's experiencing some discord. And then the rest of the group is across the alley in an inn, looking for their way out. And in that inn, they noticed a bone army shield leaning against the wall. And that's where that takes us all in. So I think, Patrick, we left you leaving out of the Chaos Wither's room, and you can feel this discord creeping into you. And you know a bit about Chaos, a lot, but you realize tampering with it could result in it blowing up.
Great, we're not going to touch it.
You're not fully certain as to why he did this, other than he knows that you and that he brought up Stormcrow, which is somebody that no one else knows, but you are in search of.
So I'm like okay about this development because it might finally answer a question about Stormcrow, but God, do I wish the bastard hadn't stabbed me to do it.
That's exactly right. That is right. So that is one of your secrets being revealed. So you get a secret point for revealing that secret. And so you've got this piece of chaos in you, and then we're back in the inn. And in the inn, we've got Jaddiah and Totty Totty in the bathroom cleaned herself up, and her and Jaddiah are now hanging out, trying to blend in. And Camilla and Gary are heading upstairs to try and meet up with Petra, or so they think. They don't even know how these buildings connect, or if they do. So why don't we jump back into Camilla and Gary, who are racing up these stairs that are spiral around like they're inside of a mushroom itself. And you're racing up, and this velvety moss flooring is like a thick shag carpet as you head up the stairs. And you can see that down below, the heavy who runs the door is keeping an eye on you. The bartender is giving some eyes, as he grabs one of the vines and pours a drink of this bubbly purplish liquid. And you can tell they got eyes on you guys. They know something's up, but no one's after you just yet. So Camilla and Gary, what are you guys doing?
I'm just going up, trying to find a way out. And I imagine that I'm probably not actually running up the stairs. I'm probably hopping across if it's a spiral, I'm probably jumping from spiral to spiral to get up faster.
I love this.
So sorry, Gary.
You were leaving Gary in the dust. Gary in the dust.
Yep.
You're seeing a whole new aspect of Camilla, but it's as she is leaving you in the dust.
Grumble, sky people.
I heard that groundling. And I'm just going up, and I'm just trying to find whatever I think the quickest way to Petra is going to be.
So you reach the top of the stairs, and you realize there's a hallway, and it extends out. And if your direction sense is doing you right, it probably goes across and over that alley that these two buildings are connected. And you can see there's a very tall, muscular man standing in front of that hallway there, and he looks at you. Not the usual customer he was expecting. Mm-hmm. And he says, "You got a room key?"
I do not. But
not getting through. No, not getting through.
How much is a room key?
6 pearls.
You see, here's the problem. There's someone very important to me on the other side of over there.
6 pearls.
You get none.
Is there any chance I've caught up by now?
You're there. You're up there now.
Oh, I have a room key. And I pull the Buster Sword off my back. And I just look at him very flat.
He looks at you, takes a big pause, and he steps to the side and he says, "Head on in.
Without
Room
a word.
27 is open." Room 27.
Without a word, I'm gone.
Right. So you're racing across that hallway, and right as you cut round the corner, smack! Petra runs right into you. Major chest bump
Oh,
I was.
as she was just coming your way.
You didn't have to come. I was doing okay without you. You don't, Camille. You don't have to babysit.
sorry that I give a shit about you.
I mean, I'm very competent. I only got stabbed once, okay?
What?
It's not
You
a big
got
deal.
stabbed once?
Just
What is
once.
that?
Just, I don't know. It's just chaos glass or something. I don't know.
You
Don't
got
worry
stabbed
about it.
with chaos glass?
Fine, Camilla. God, you worry so much.
I'm still
I
with the
do.
doorman, and I'm just like, isn't this a touching moment? No.
He's just shaking his head. He's just, I don't know how I got myself here. Yeah, real touching.
If you want to help me find like a coat or something because I'm drenched in blood and very conspicuous.
Bathroom.
Bathroom.
I look at the door guy.
27.
Great. 27.
You pop into that room. It's an empty room. It's clean. There's this beautiful moss flooring, right? It's got these beautiful blue bioluminescent lamps, and there's this huge head of what must have been like an 8 tall praying mantis with its glowing eyes. It's mounted on the wall that sets the ambiance for it. Lovely spot. All the amenities. This is a decent establishment. This isn't a low rent thing. This is an expensive. These are the expensive ones.
Great. My goal is I'm hoping that I can find A, get her cleaned up in the bathroom, B, see if I can find any clothing or anything that I can fashion into some sort of.
No problem. There is a water basin that's there for you, and they even have these lovely water vines that come in that go down to some sort of big vat. And you sort of pump them, and water whooshes out of the vines, so you can clean right up. And then they've got these robes that are made out of these really well woven together leaves. They're soft to the touch, and that's what's available in the room.
I am pulling clumps of moss off the floor because I know it soaks up blood, and I'm using it to naturally try and bandage some of my wounds.
Got it. All right, so you're stuffing moss in here. It's going under the shirt. It's going under the armor. You're trying to get this to figure out right. You grab one of the robes.
Mm-hmm.
You look dashing in it.
And if
I look dashing in everything.
Well, yes. Great. Is this a
So you're
full-length
cleaned up.
robe?
I know it's mid-thigh.
Okay.
Come on.
That's
You know this kind of establishment is not full length. Yeah. It's a mid-thigh robe. So you've got on the robe. You're cleaned up. Gary, what's happening here?
Gary wants a robe. Gary walks in, and he doesn't care about getting cleaned up because he didn't get his crap kicked in. So he just goes to the closet and over all his other stuff. He's just probably rips it a little bit. Yep, that's comfy. And then I'll just I'm just waiting for them to figure out whatever they're doing. And I guess with my mind, since I'm still linked to Jaddiah, I'll make sure I'll just be like, upstairs, room 27, whatever you're doing, whatever, just keeping in touch.
Yeah,
Radio
I'm also
talk.
Camilla. I'm going to look out the window because I want to know what's happening outside. Are they out in the alleyway looking for us? Have they run past?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
And this is at a +1 because my perception is 11. And I got an 8, so that's a 9.
So you take a peek out the window, and you don't see any Bone Army in the alley. You look out the front, you don't see the militia moving around. It feels like they didn't realize where you went. Somehow you guys gave them the slip, or so it appears. So you're feeling pretty good about that. Jaddiah, you're feeling in this mind link here as you and Totty are downstairs. That occupied men's bathroom. Somebody comes out of it. Gosh, beefy looking dude here, and he reaches over and he grabs the Horok shield puts it on his back, gives you a good stare for a minute, looks over to Totty. He walks right past you guys, looking at you the whole way, and goes to the door.
Does he leave?
Throws one last look, heads out the door.
Oh. Okay.
I'm going to like swing this girl like around the girl I was talking to or whatnot, and then I'm gonna go over to Totty and kind of put my arm around her and just be like, "You okay?"
You're the one who got stabbed.
I know, but you were the one getting punched in the face.
Yeah, it's just teeth. It's fine. Grow back.
Right. They'll grow
Maybe.
back. But now I must ask you, what is exactly in your backpack?
I don't know. That's the problem. So I actually don't know. I'm actually looking for someone.
Someone.
They'll know what to do. Okay. Oh God, I have to. You know what? Is there a drink on the table?
Sure. You guys have drinks on the table.
She
Nice
takes
solid bone elixir glasses.
Good. I take it down because she needs some courage, and she's like, I'm looking for someone. I have to remember the name. Tata, can you do it? And she turns and you see like a little bug come out, and she's like, okay, do you have it on? And she's like, no, not you. And she's consistently checking all of her bugs, and she's like, no, not you, Tata. No, the other Tata. Tata 2. No, Tata 3. And then she's like, takes another bug. And she's like, okay, no, this is the one. This is the one. And you see it like furl out its wings, and you see written on the inside of the wings is a word. It is a name, and it says Vasic. And she's like, that's who I'm looking for.
Really?
And that stirs a memory in you, Jaddiah. Vasic. This is a woman on the High Council. Because you're from Storm Point. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a woman on the High Council from Storm Point. This is somebody who's been there this is a woman of a lot of power. Essentially, the way it works out is there's a High Council of 6, and then there's the governor, and the kind of between the two groups, they sort it out. So this is no joke.
Okay.
This is like,
so,
yeah.
Jaddiah is gonna like have his drink. He didn't like take a swig yet. He was more like looking at the glass, thinking, I hope I don't swallow a bug. But right as you say that, he's gonna just kind of go straight face a bit. But he's just, you do realize she is on the High Council. She has a lot of power. Why are you trying to find her?
Well, I kind of have a mission. You see, very important mission. And she takes another swig. You see, I was asked by the Council of Mother for it. So, I'm saying that correctly, right?
Yeah, the Council of Mothers. This is odd to you because she's an insect weaver, Jaddiah, and everybody knows that the Council of Mothers hates the insect weavers on the island.
Right.
It's a little suspect. She's trying to meet with a way important person. Vasic's not hard to find. It's getting close to somebody like that, right? It's like trying to talk to the president. You know where they live,
right.
But you can't get close. Yeah. So this story is starting to get real complicated for you.
Now, listen, just seeing your skills between one another, I believe this is very impressed, actually. He's going to nonchalantly just kind of move his glass over to you. This, I'm guessing you have to see someone, and this may be more of a high risk meeting.
Oh yes, I most likely will die. But I mean, it's gonna be worth it, though. I think.
It's worth it, don't you? What is more? Why? What intrigues you? No, this is actually him. He's getting a little like, what intrigues you with going out and dying? There's so much more.
No, it's because it's okay. It's a little complicated, and I'm a little embarrassed. But really, it is that I have somebody who believes in me in doing this, and I am going to see it through, no matter what.
Just because someone believes in you, you are willing to put
Somebody
your
very
life.
specific, but yeah.
Someone very, very specific believes in you. You are willing to put your life on the line to make sure that that task is complete for that specific person.
Wouldn't you do that for somebody else that you care for?
I already tried. And I'm trying to carry it out now. But I failed her once, and I will try not to fail her again.
So then we will both not fail. How does that sound? And she puts a hand on your shoulder.
And who did you fail before, Jaddiah?
I failed my daughter. Lost her in a gambling bet. I lost her in such a way, and now I am seeking her out, and this... She was spotted here last time I heard. I'm looking for her. And
So
trust
there's
me...
a tiny girl version of you somewhere.
Yes. Yes, that is. But I will let you know now, Totty, that if you stand in my way between me and her, don't expect me to put a blade through your forehead. I've already lost her once. I will not lose her again.
No, I get that. But if you do, do the throat, not the face. Please. But I will not stand in your way. Simply because I have no motive to. Makes no sense. I will help you if you help me.
We find my daughter first, and I help you get to meet... what was her name again?
Vasek?
Vasek. Deal?
Okay, that I can do. However, you do realize that I have a big bug on my back, which is a very big target. So we're going to have to cover it up. Because anybody seeing this is going to be like, what's in the bug? Because that's all I've been hearing.
Here.
Yes, you have a very limited time frame on your delivery of this, Camilla.
Do I?
This can't. Yes, you have a very limited. Delivery is supposed to be happening today, tonight.
Okay.
You have a very limited window.
Okay, so let me go back if a couple ticks and say that actually I will help you with your daughter after we do my exchange because I have a very limited amount of time.
I'm gonna pretend we already had that conversation before everything did happen. I'm gonna you're gonna bring up you have the beetle on your back. I am going to take out my cloak and I'm gonna put it around you to cover the beetle, and I'll just be like, have you heard of hunchback syndrome?
No, not particularly.
Well, all you'll kind of have to do is arch your back. Just say you got it. Kind of walk with a little stumble. I think people will ease up on you asking where that beetle is coming from.
I mean, a couple drinks and I will stumble, yes.
Well, I shall go get you 2 more drinks. He's going to stand up and go grab you some drinks.
Nice. So you head to the bar, and as you stand in front of the bartender, you throw the slivers on the counter. He brings you 2 more 2 more flagons, and it looks at you and leads it very closely. I wouldn't stay here too long.
Noted.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm gonna walk back and I'm gonna telepathically talk to Gary, be like, hey, not to alarm, but we have to get out of here now.
Do you have you Jaddiah, have you told me this information in the mind link to Gary, or are you heading up the stairs to meet up with them, or what's your next move?
I'm still kind of, I don't know what exactly he meant, but I think the last thing we want to do is maybe make a scene. So it's very nonchalantly like, I'm going to take these, I'm going to grab them, not to cause any more commotion than what's already happened, and just be like, hey, we need to go.
Nice. So he's sending this message to you, Gary, and are you telling the group how you're reacting?
Gary, like, while they were getting cleaned up in the bathroom, so when he gets this message, Gary's sitting on the bed, very sad, with a little, like, very crumpled piece of paper with a crayon drawing of him in bone armor, and there's, like, a tear. But he wipes it away, and he folds it up and puts it back in his shirt, and he goes back to being very stoic, and he kind of raps on the bathroom door, but he doesn't, like, try to go ahead. He just, like, calls through. He's like, we gotta go.
Meanwhile, in the bathroom, it's just like probably back and forth. Like, sorry, I care about you, and I'm trying to like.
Don't touch it.
Have you never once wondered why you don't fit in?
I fit in just fine.
You don't fit in fine at all. Are you kidding me? You went through like what 18 etiquette coaches before I came along.
It was them, not me. Mom always said it was them, not me.
Your mom, yeah.
I just because she tried to pass me off to different nannies and tutors doesn't mean she is still not my mother. So yes, my mom. And like, it was them. They were bad tutors. I don't know how you've lasted this long, Camilla.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of reasons for that.
Okay.
And
cryptic.
That's it.
Cryptic.
And, Camilla will pull out a little notebook that's like a little journal. And she's like, do you recognize this? And it would be the emblem of your noble house.
Yes, then. Well, I recognize the emblem. Then it's a notebook. We have stationery everywhere.
Yes, of course. This belonged to someone in your household, someone that goes unnoticed, much like I do in most situations. You should give it a read sometime.
Okay, well, right now, I am bleeding out in a whorehouse, Camilla.
Oh my god. And she's like, I get it. And she'll do, what is it? On your feet, which is her action.
Are you gonna heal me?
So
God knows I need it.
Heal damage equal to your healing rate. Choose an ally within medium range. They also get to heal damage equal to their healing rate.
What's
So you exercise that by what's available to you there at the hotel.
Yep.
So there at the inn, you're able to bandage her up,
Yep.
cut up one of the robes, wrap it around her, and you bring back your healing rate worth of health, or you reduce your damage by your healing rate, and you have stopped the bleeding. You have stopped it from getting any worse.
Is it my healing rate or her healing rate?
Your healing rate?
Fine.
Yeah.
All right, I'm a little less dead. I mean, I'm still pretty banged up, but
There's a little improvement.
Mhm.
Yes. So, and so the way that, so that's you can execute that, and obviously I don't think, Camilla, you were injured, right? So you.
Nope.
Yep. So yeah, but you get to heal someone else. That's awesome.
Yep. And then it's just Gary's knocking on Gary.
Bang, bang, bang. Guys.
why did we get stabbed for you? Why did I get stabbed for you?
I have lost so much today, young woman. We have to go.
I have lost
Yes.
so much blood, but fine.
Petra, you're more like your mother than you know. All right, we need to go.
I did
Nice.
say that.
Places like this tend to have back doors. We could probably scoot out another alley. There's multiple ways in and out of here to protect the girls who work here.
Are you guys gonna meet back up? And are you guys going
Can
out?
we get
different-
them up
different
here? Because I think walking out the pub door is more conspicuous than walking out a back door of a brothel.
If you say that, then yeah, I'll
Yes,
call
I will
down to
say that,
Jaddiah
yeah.
with my mind to be like, come upstairs, room 27. Tell the guy you're with Buster Sword Guy. Real nice.
So you guys, Jaddiah and Totty, you head up the stairs and you see that big hefty brute at the top of it, and you mention room 27, and he just goes, steps to the side. He doesn't want anything to do with room 27. Boom. So you guys are all in the room together, and you met back up. Have you shared? Did you share in MindLink anything, Jaddiah, that you learned from Totty, or has any of that been passed on?
No, I would say I was more focused on the conversation between me and Totty, and also more focused on like, hey, this bartender's looking out for us and he told us to go. So it's more of, he was more focused on making sure that we weren't going to be in danger in any type of way. And then he'll pass it on to Gary when they have the time.
Nice. So all of you make a perception check really quickly.
Me?
Yeah. Oh, everybody make a perception.
Oh,
check.
everyone.
Funny.
Okay.
I love this dice. I'm never not using my
Dang.
pink die. I never roll this good ever.
I also rolled a 20.
Wow.
I got a
This is a
3.
Beautiful
Yeah.
pink dice.
6.
Looking at my bugs.
I got a 13.
Nice. So, Gary, as you open the door to room 27, you hear whispering coming down the hallway, and you realize there's an open door. There's a guy kind of leaning into the room. You can see his back, and he's talking to somebody who you can't quite see from this distance, but you can hear some mutterings, and you can hear them talking about the seed. And I don't think they mean the kind that often occurs in a brothel. They're talking about some sort of seed, and they mention, you hear the Council of Mothers, and you hear the name Vasic, and it's hard to pick out what's happening in that discussion there in the hallway, but they're clearly talking about something that's quite urgent. And one of the guys starts yelling at the other guy that he can't believe he's in here right now. They've got work they need to do, and they have tomorrow night there is the unveiling of the living suit, and this guy can't be in here. He's got to get back. He's got to get back to the Inventor's Cauldron, and he's got to get out of here. So there's a quarrel between these two men, and you can hear the girl in the room's like, "No problem, I'll give the money back." She's realizing this is turning into something she doesn't want to be a part of.
Interesting. So Petra and I both heard that?
So you heard that in the hallway. And Petra heard some glimpses of it as well too, but you were the first one out. You actually heard sight. You maybe caught a few of those words, Petra.
Okay, interesting. I'm not going to do anything with that right now. If anything, that'll be a better distraction for us to leave in.
Yep.
So you guys heading out to the back door?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Out of here.
So the guy who was leaning into the room, whose face you couldn't see, he pulls back and he looks at you. He looks at you walking down the hallway. He flags all 5 of you, and he looks at this for a moment. He sees the hunchback. He says, "Excuse me, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I don't know you guys. Hello?"
Everybody
Just
go.
tourists.
We're just leaving.
Camilla says it was a weird experiment. It didn't quite go as planned. We just want to leave.
The hunchback turned it off.
So he's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, Keldon. And you can see Keldon pops out, and it's the face of the Chaos Wheeler, Petra. You recognize him, and he sees you, and he gives you a wink. And he's like, wait a minute, don't go anywhere. Are you guys What are you guys up? What are you guys doing?
We're gonna go somewhere.
You're bolting. You don't care
Why
about
are
this
we
guy. You're
listening
bolting.
to this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're just gonna keep
just
walking
leaving.
down the hall.
Nice. So you guys head out to the back room. He's like, wait a minute, and he's like, Kelvin,
No.
do something here. Do something here. And he's like, it's beyond my powers. It's beyond my powers. So you guys are out the back door. You burst out the back door. All is quiet here on the western front. As you look around, it's now starting to become night, and the streets have mostly cleared out. There's a few bioluminescent lights. They have this beautiful red cobblestone that winds through this business district here. The night is all before you, and you're wanted, men and women. And also Totty and Jaddiah, you have something that you are about.
Yeah. Okay, well, at least we got out of that. Sorry for dragging you into all of this, because it's a lot, and I get it. But everybody wants this bag. Everybody wants Tater. I don't really know particularly why. But I'm looking for someone. I'm looking for a woman, Vasic, some council member or something.
So this is a council woman, and she might be. They have essentially a Storm Point, a district. They have where the High Council meets in the Northern District. You could try and go there and petition to speak with her. That's not out of the realm.
We might have to break into her bedroom.
Well, good luck with that. Camilla I don't have to be here for this. I already got stabbed. I'm gonna run to a different city and make some bribes. Good
Do you know
luck.
you're wanted here for being associated with me now?
That explains the bribes, though. I'll be fine. Good luck. Camilla, let's go.
What, Petra? You're gonna run away from your problems again.
Always.
That's kind of her thing. I go where she goes, so.
Kid, you can only run so long. It'll catch up with you.
She's very
Well-
fast.
You are 3 very large problems. I still am not sure why I got stabbed or why this councilwoman is our problem, because it's not. I've already been... Someone tried to assassinate me this morning. I have other problems that aren't you.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Also, and she looks at Jaddiah and she says, she was stabbed with chaos glass.
Oh yeah, I got stabbed.
Oh.
Jaddiah, this immediately lights you up. You can feel that thought. I was just, what? So what this is what they call a chaos shard, and it's a piece of glass, which is not like glass as we know it. It's glass formed by pure light from the heavens that strikes the earth, and oftentimes chaos can be placed inside of it, right? And it seeps out and it causes discord for anyone in contact. It's just it's small, so it's only the person it's touching, but that immediately excites something that you have been searching for.
Yes.
Is a link to chaos.
I'm going to run up to Petra and I'm going to start examining where it's been. And
Hey. Don't blow us up.
Don't.
sorry, I just... You can't go yet. I need what is inside of you.
That's a weird...
There are better ways to say that.
That could have...
That is very forward of you, Jaddiah. We're not that close yet, but I understand. Thank you. Can you get it out without killing us both?
How would Jaddiah know maybe like a good procedure on how to get it out, or just to pull it out, or what?
Well, if you're not somebody who... So here's the way it works out. For you to awaken sort of the chaos essence tree inside of you, you need to actually come in contact with it. Right, but to pull it out of her, it's going to react, right? And it could be all kinds of things. It could mutate her. It could blow up. It could mutate you.
Right.
So you don't know those results. Now, generally speaking, you need somebody who can wield chaos to manage this kind of thing.
Okay.
It's not to do it risk free, if you will.
Okay.
You don't know the consequences of it this way, but clearly, this is something that you have been seeking, and
all right. I am going to look at Petra and just listen. If you do not get that out, it will take over you. It will destroy you. You need to find someone who will be able to take it out without harming you in any way. I happen to know someone with that, and I will take you to them as long as you help me with something first.
How do I know you're not lying?
Why would I lie to you at this point?
I don't
Because
know.
you
Why
want
were
chaos?
Why were you in jail? I don't.
Why did you
met-
go running
That
into
was
jail?
my fault.
Oh, because there was a wyvern assassin trying to murder me. It happens from time to time. That's like the 6th this year. It just keeps happening.
Exactly.
It's fine. It's fine.
You were running away from assassin. This assassin planted into you cannot run away from. It will destroy you before you can make any bribe, Petra.
I don't know many
Camilla
chaos people.
Camilla will say, Petra, darling, you're better than all of them. They really do probably need your help.
Yes, I know, darling, but they
I
are
wanted to
very useless
telepathically
without me. I did take out the most number of guards in that prison, didn't I?
You did. They really can't get on without you.
I guess they do need some young blood in the mix.
I'm 30.
I'm still younger than you.
I know, but she's still like, I'm only 30.
30 is ancient to a 24-year-old, so like she just looks at you and is like, you promise. You know what's their name?
I have to give you the name after you help me, because if I tell you the name now, you would just go seek it out.
What does their name start with?
3.
That sounds fake, Jaddiah. Do you realize
That does
that sounds
that
fake?
does sound a bit fake.
I don't know. I've heard of someone named 3, like starting with a 3.
I don't know any other chaos wielders.
Look, what is this thing you need help with? Let's start there.
Well, first off, we need to help our friend here. Otherwise, I don't know what's going to happen. We just have to go meet her. But if we must know, I have lost someone very, very important to me. And oh, it would be a shame, Camilla, if you would have to go through the same thing I did with losing someone. But you, Camilla, would have
Do
no
not
way in getting...
presume to know what I have or have not lost, Walker.
And I lean down to Totty away from that. I don't think we need any of them. I kind of hate all of them at this point.
You're gonna hear, Gary, what the hell? I thought you were on my side.
And I'm like, and I forgot we have brain links, so I'm like, oh no, buddy, listen. And I kind of lean back up and I go over to them and I'm like, listen, old lady, I'm your age probably, Camilla.
I'm
but
55.
I'm older than you. So actually, yeah, it's like, listen, whippersnapper, I don't need to take this
You're
from
like
you.
5 years older than me.
I'm 10 years older than you, young
Wow.
woman. You don't look a day over 30, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna take your sass. And I hold out the necklace that Jaddiah gave me, and I'm like, have you seen this girl? And it's just twigs and sticks roughly in a humanoid shape. But I'm like,
No, I haven't seen a voodoo doll walking around. No,
it's
what?
his daughter, clearly, can't you tell? And I'm like pointing at it.
Tiny girl version of him somewhere.
See, she knows.
Mm.
We're all gonna die if we don't.
We have to go.
together.
We have to go. We have to go.
And I'll follow the little person.
So Totty, are you going to then head towards the executive district where you can try and connect with Vasek?
Yeah.
Okay. And Gary, you following her with your Buster sword?
I don't even know why. I think Gary's just done with everyone else. He's just like, well, at my day.
You want a little bug? You want a tater with you?
Oh my God, please. I need something to live for.
Oh
my gosh, Gary.
Wow. Gary, wow.
Gary's dreams
like
have
you,
been
Gary.
dashed.
I like
You understand now, Gary is a late bloomer, right? And so emotionally a little unstable. All right, so Toddy, you and Gary are heading towards the executive district. What are the rest of you guys doing? Are you following suit?
I'm waving to them like, you are we coming? Are you still up for this? Because
I mean, go ahead and finish.
I think that you'll get murdered if in the city now. Unfortunately, because of me. I'm sorry.
Lean into Camilla. I sigh. So my options are death by chaos glass or death by chaos assholes.
Yes.
Because they're definitely going to get us killed.
Yeah,
so,
probably.
And right in the middle of this thought, you hear a little bit of marching. And you hear a little bit of marching, and you realize it's militia, and they're making their rounds.
Yep, and I just scoot after Toddy.
Camilla looks at Petra, and she says, "The way we usually travel." And she, expecting her to follow, jumps up on the roofs, and Camilla and Petra probably travel along the rooftops.
Yep. Keeping track with them.
Nice.
Looking
Okay.
out above.
So you guys are up above on the rooftop tracking, and you definitely can see. You can see now that the militia goes 2 by 2, and you can see they kind of are circling the various blocks. There's no one obviously up on the rooftops circling. You are safe, except for Wyvern Knights, who happen to be incredibly effective at swooping people off the top of roofs. But you can see them maneuvering down below, and for you guys down on foot, clearly the militia is maneuvering around. So all of you roll 1d20. You're going to make an agility check for your ability to keep in the shadows and keep away from.
Oh, praise the dice god.
I got
Agility check?
11 with a modifier of 1, so 12 total.
Gotcha. What about you?
15
What?
plus 3,
Oh.
so 18.
Gotcha.
Yep,
And
mine is a 14.
nice.
There we
And what
go.
about you, Toddy?
18.
And you, Jaddiah? 4. Not surprising. So, so the rest of you are moving along pretty stealthily, able to sneak into shadows and maneuver along the way, and you're getting right close to the executive district. And this is sort of the opulent side. And you can see the plant weavers have had incredible work here. There's these huge verdant plants of all various colors and shapes. And there's this exquisite stonework that's unique to Storm Point, all this incredibly crimson-colored stonework. And it's this big mashup of oranges and greens and reds as you're coming towards the executive district. And as you're getting right towards the end there, as you're sneaking, you quickly duck into a side street to avoid the militia. And just right at the end, Jaddiah wasn't quite on the uptake. He was lost in his thoughts. And the militia says, "Hey, what are you doing out?" It's 2 militia members. "Hey, what are you doing out?"
Just like, what exactly do they mean? Like, what are we doing out? Because I feel like there's a lot of people around. Or
As you're right here near the executive district, though, that's a different conversation, right? It's kind of like going to Capitol Hill. They're like, "Well, what are you doing out? The councils and meetings. What's your business?"
oh, I'm
They're not like at Spear Point.
right.
They're just checking.
Oh, my apologies. I used to live here, and I was just making my rounds just to see what has changed. I haven't been here for a few years, so I've just seen sights. Is all.
So roll 1d20.
Okay. It's a 10.
It's a 10. So you guy talks, she says, yeah. Back in a different time, this place was special. Gone to crap, really. Gone to
Really?
crap, really. Yeah. Where were you living at before? South District?
Yeah, I was down at the south.
Yeah, it's not the same. Not the same. Well, just steer clear of the council hall. You should be fine. Chat with you later. And he walks on past.
Have a good one. I'm just gonna kind of look around. Do like the thing, like the teacher looks at you and you kind of go, oh okay. And I like start walking the same. I start walking a different direction. See like the militia leave and then dash back.
Nice.
Good save.
So you guys,
Good save.
you guys have
Thank you.
You guys have come to now you're kind of at the edge of the executive district, and there is this hall in the center of it, and it's this geometric shaped stone building where the council and the governor meets. And Jaddiah from having been here before, they meet, and usually no matter how late these meetings go, usually at dark, they call it quits and return tomorrow to argue again.
Right.
So if they're still in meeting, that means something important's going on. But in theory should be ending soon, you're unsure. But there's a bastion of guards stationed clearly around. These are Bone Army soldiers. These are the important people in town. So you see 4 of them stationed on the outside, and that's your setting here. And Totty, you are presuming, and Jaddiah, that Vasica's on the inside of that building right now, that she's there on the inside.
Okay, so I'm assuming if I go straight up to them and tell them my biz, they will not believe me. Because this is not particularly normal to be working for the Council of Mothers, so people tend to not believe me. But we can also try it.
So what is your game plan, folks? Are you going to try and approach? Are you going to try and wait it out? What's your thought?
Well, if we weren't wanted, I could have probably gotten us in. And I look at Jaddiah and I scowl at him because I blame this entirely on him at this point.
Hey, you were the one who killed the first person.
They stabbed you first.
And?
You provoked them. How you always provoke them. You always provoke.
Speaking of provoke, maybe we could run a distraction.
That's a good idea. I have screaming beetles. I could send them around a corner.
I also have beetles. Hey, we connect.
We can have a beetle team up.
Oh,
yeah,
dear.
I have a living weapon. I could maybe cause a distraction with some beetles that yell.
That's true. These are screaming beetles. You have them on your cufflink. You can place them, and you can give them instruction to what would cause them and to go off, and they go off, enough to wake the dead, so to speak.
Will they come back to me if I tell them to, or do I have to go pick them up after? Okay.
No, they come back. They fly. You can essentially send them to something within medium range, and they fly to it and post up.
All right. I could probably send a beetle to like another rooftop, tell them to wait 10 seconds, scream for 10 seconds, then shut up and come back.
Sure. No, you absolutely could.
Does that sound? Anybody else want to add to this plan?
No, I think that works quite fine.
Okay. Yeah, I will pluck one of the beetles off of my cuff. They're very beautiful and iridescent and green. I say,
What's his name?
Todd. I was just gonna say his name is Todd. I'm so happy. I'm so happy you went there too. Okay, Todd.
Hey, Todd.
Very important job for you, Todd. You're gonna just see that building over there. Okay, you're gonna fly, and you're gonna settle down. And you're gonna wait 10 seconds, and then you're gonna start screaming. And you're gonna scream for 10 seconds, and then you're gonna stop screaming, and you're gonna come back to me. Okay? Can you do it? And Todd nods, because he does.
Nice.
Let him go, and Todd's gonna go do his job. We have about 20 seconds to make our move, guys. Just so we're
the
all on
beetle
the
is
same
flying.
page.
Where are you guys going? It's trying to land. right outside the court. Sorry, the city hall building. Everybody, are you ducking? You're hiding? You're standing?
Oh, I wanted to send him like not right outside the city hall, but like if city hall is here and we're like chilling over here, I want to send it over there. Like I want to send it like away from the main door and us as far as he can go.
Gotcha. All right. Beetle comes in, lands, it waits, and then boom, it goes off. You guys have to cover your ears. It is something that could wake the dead. It is screaming and screaming. You can see the bone army, the bone militia there that's standing outside of City Hall, come racing over to the direction to try and figure out what's going on. A couple doors open, a couple more guards pop outside. Everybody's on high alert. Some lights come on in some buildings, and the guards are making the laps around, and then boom, it's gone. You can see the two principal guards outside look at each other. This is something's up. Something's up here. We got to get the council out of here. So they haul back inside, and boom, another door opens on the far back side of the city hall. Opens, and you can see the bone army is kind of crushed alongside the city council, right? And you can see them, all six of them, and the governor. They're in their meeting, and Jaddiah, you point out, the one with the striking jet black hair and pale skin, that is Vasek. And she's in that lineup. And the thing that really shocks you, Jaddiah, is that then coming behind them are some tutors, and there is a young girl, maybe 12, 13, with them, that is rushing the young girl up to Vasek, and she puts her arm around the daughter. She says thank you to the tutor, and they're moving in a caravan, out of the city hall here, and you can see rustling over is this what we call a dreadnought, this bone dreadnought. It's like almost like a bone-like tank, and this thing sort of rolls into view here. And this is like their armored carrier, and they're running towards it. And that daughter, that young girl, has a striking resemblance to your daughter. Resemblance to your daughter. And you identify, Totty, that's Vasek. That's the woman that you're supposed to connect with here. But they're getting ready to get moved out and get into the armored caravan. Are you guys making any choices here?
Does Jaddiah tell me it's his daughter? This is what I
probably tell. Like, you can probably tell.
Screaming. Oh.
Then immediately it's just like, all right, well, I guess we got to throw down. There's no other.
No.
Option.
Wouldn't it be safer to follow them and wait?
Do you know how fast those caravans can move?
You know how fast we can move?
I'm gonna move.
Yes, we can move, young lady. I don't have time for this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does your hip hurt you, Gary?
It hurts, and it tells me it's gonna rain.
Probably inaccurately, also.
Totty is excited just to see this woman because she's like, finally, my mission. And she's gonna walk up, and she takes off the cloak.
I love this.
Wow.
Oh, I love
And she's gonna be like, Vasek!
Whoa.
Time to throw down.
Oh man, I
Rip
don't.
off the robe. There's still sort of the tatters of what you were wearing before then, and you point to the beetle on your back and say,
who?
and the lineup of bone soldiers and politicians all stop in their tracks. All their heads kind of seem to turn all at once and look right over. Huh? And you're waving this, pointing at the beetle. And Vasek has her face goes even more pale than it already was. It goes even much more pale, and she's looking at this in horror. And this sort of burly African-looking man looks to her, one of the councilmen. She's with you? She's just... No, I don't know who she is. Get rid of her. Clearly a threat. Clearly a threat to the Republic here, please. Get rid of her. Get her out of here. Yes.
Jaddiah is gonna come up. Oh man, I don't know what this thing on your back is.
I don't
But
either.
I see you going towards Vasek, and I see my daughter with her, and I scream out her name. I just yell like Daisy, and I am coming up. I'm actually gonna like start pulling you back, and I'm gonna be like, that is my daughter. That is my daughter. I'm gonna get really loud too.
So you're pulling me back?
So
I'm
you're
pulling you back.
screaming-
So I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's like a bomb or something.
Oh,
And
I don't think it's a bomb. I hope not.
Yeah, well, yeah. So
Exactly.
Nice. Or that's what who knows what that could be. It's a gift from the Council of Mothers. It's all you know what's inside there. And so boom, when you start screaming, that's my daughter. Vasek she's losing her mind. You can tell the child is looking around, but the child sees you, but it looks at you sort of like without recognition, right? They don't seem to recognize you.
yeah.
And now that like a little small sentry of about 4 bone soldiers, big shields. These are the tough bone recruits. These are the ones that are built for carnage, and they have big shields, big axes, and they start marching towards where you guys are, and they're moving fast here. This and Vasek is like, hurry, get inside. She's ushering the young girl who, from the looks of it, seems like she's behaving like her daughter, and she's ushering her inside the dreadnought. And the other big African council member is calling out some orders. The governor is just like, again, and he just goes into the dreadnought. He's over it. He's yelling out some orders, but the scene is falling apart quickly, and certainly you can see as Vasek is moving towards the dreadnought, the other council people are like, who do you know? Who is she? Who's this person? What is this? They're jumping all over her with questions, and she's poorly deflecting them. This is not. She was not prepared for this.
You think she didn't hear me?
Camilla is gonna jump over these bone army people that are coming this way and try to jump right next to where Vasek is.
Okay, that'll be the full distance of your leap.
Yep.
Or beyond it. So you need to spend a seeker point to try and make this leap.
Oh.
So go ahead and see, and I can show maybe something. Everybody starts with 1 seeker point.
Okay.
Oh,
So go ahead and make an agility check, because there's guards, there's weapons. This isn't a safe landing by any means.
I believe in
So
you.
make it a bit agility check with 2 banes.
Okay. Does one of those cancel because of my lighter than air?
No, that's lighter than air is what gets you there. It's not about. It's the fact that there's a slew of guards that are armed, and like you can't just. There's not a safe spot you can get to without some real maneuvering.
Well, that's a 3. So.
Okay, and roll the banes.
4 and 5, so 9.
So no, you only take the highest one. So 5.
Oh, so 5.
So that puts you at a -2.
Yep.
So you scream out Vasek, and you leap through the air like Wonder Woman herself. It is triumphant. The world slows down. The camera's pushing in. This is your moment, and you come right down on top of a bone army guard with his huge shield. Boom! You get hit by one of the horns. You take 5 damage, and you smash right into his shield. He throws you to the ground, and you're instantly surrounded by the military.
And I'm just screaming out towards Vasek. She's lying.
She's lying. Are you trying to inspire? That Vasek is. You're trying to inspire like agitation towards Vasek. Is that your goal here?
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to say like Vasek is lying. She clearly knows something.
So this is amazing. You come flying in from almost 200 feet. You slam into a shield, hit the ground. You're bleeding. Bassick is lying. Bassick is lying. The rest of the governor is still just shaking his head inside. What will they think of next? So it's really the roll on a 20 for me real quick on this plea to the crowd here, and roll it with 2 banes.
That time it was a 19.
Okay. And then roll your 2 banes.
So the 4.
Okay, so 15. So a couple of the council members stop and look at Vassic. Vassic, I think this deserves some explaining. Another one, the same African guy looks back at her. Vassic. Now, you're at a place where you're on the ground.
Yep.
You've got 3 guards on you. Any sort of try to fight.
I'm not trying to fight
you're
at
prone.
all.
Just so you know, just for mechanics wise, you're what you consider prone, which means they don't have to roll to hit you.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was an amazing. This was awesome. This is awesome.
I'm just yelling.
You're just yelling. So all right. So so there's one. So who's going next? It feels like somebody else wanted to take another action here. Gary, what are you doing here?
Let me ask. So seeker points. Can you go into more on how do those just kind of allow you to do things maybe that you normally wouldn't be able to do, or how are they implemented?
So the way they work is like on her jump. That one particularly says if you spend a seeker point, you can go double the distance. So lots of abilities say you could use a seeker point to enhance it or to do something special. Gotcha. But in general, you can always use it to add a boon to anything.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and I know that Jaddiah but I can see Jaddiah doing his own thing. So I look down at the girl with the bug backpack and I'm like, you need to get to them, right?
Can you toss me?
I can try to toss you. And
oh my God.
Can I feasibly toss this small person? Because I have the bracer with the strength.
Do it.
Can I manipulate gravity? Can I help and manipulate gravity around her to make her fly better? Can we double team this?
You can't. Your gravity control isn't strong enough to affect another person yet.
Okay.
However, you can lend support, which would add a boon to somebody else. So if he's trying to do a big physical feat, you could add a boon to it by helping in some way. And maybe you can call that your essence, but technically you can't decrease gravity for another person yet.
Okay. How can we figure out? I don't know. What can we do with that?
So you're going to toss her?
I'm going to toss her. I'm going to look at her and be like, thank you for Tater 53. And I point at the little beetle on my shoulder. And I'm going to just try to I guess kind of hammer toss. Because I lug around this bone sword. So I'm used to weight. So maybe if I just get enough momentum going, I can just toss her. And maybe Petra will just be like, wait, and kind of do something.
I'll be like, that's not the most aerodynamic way to do this. Make sure she's pointed that way and toes in. Keep your knees together. You got this.
She is going to say also...
And you give a touch to try. You touch her and maybe help with your essence. Go ahead, Totty.
She's also when this is happening, she is going to look at Jaddiah and be like, I'll get your daughter, like I said. And then fucking goes.
That sounds so much threatening when you don't know what you're going to do.
All right, so this is a major fastball special. She comes running. Think about, Dirty Dancing, the run and leap moment. This is something like that. She's running towards you. You've got her. She lends a touch to reduce her gravity, and you're throwing with everything you've got. The bone army's coming towards you. She goes flying over the heads of the soldiers, and fortunately, she is a short, small person by her build and appearance. So imagine she's rocking out at a solid 93, 4 pounds, and you hurl her through the air. Let's go ahead and roll 1 die 20. Totty. Oh, actually, why don't you, Gary, roll 1 die 20 for you? And then, Totty, let's talk about your landing.
That's a 17, thank God.
Nice.
Oh, I got a 19 on the die.
Nice. So you get tossed into the air, and it's not nearly as elegant as Camilla was while in the air, but boy, it's a better landing than Camilla had. So you land on the inside of the Bone Army guards who immediately about face, right? And the 4 guards who are running towards you guys stop and immediately, 2 of them are still going towards you. 2 look back the other way and start to feel like, uh-oh, this has gotten out of hand. Everything is sort of slowed down, and the governor's inside. Could we hurry this up? I mean, please, Vasek, can you get in? So you land with this beetle. You're maybe 5 to 6 feet away from Vasek. The young girl is clutching her leg, saying, "Mom, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" Jaddiah is weeping, and she's like, "Do you know this woman? Do you know this woman?" The big African man is like, Vasek.
I'm from the Council of Mothers. They sent me. I know. I'm insect weaver, but
the governor sticks his head out the window. The who sent you?
Council of Mothers.
He looks at Vasek with some steel eyes. Vasek. Same African councilman, Vasek.
Can I just say
What is this?
Can I just say this whole time Jaddiah is just screaming like, "You're the ones who took my bloody daughter!" Just he is angry to realize
You're gonna have to adjust that.
One of the council members, can somebody shut that guy up? Can somebody shut the angry dad up?
Trying to hold him back and failing because he's way bigger than I am. I'm like a pretty gangly early 20-year-old. I'm desperately trying to stay out of this fight.
When they're like, shut the
Because
angry
we're both
dad
wounded.
up, Camilla's like, you admit it. You admit that he's her dad.
There we go.
Yeah.
So you're holding on to it, Totty. So Vasek is looking at you. She's just like petrified. The governor steps out of the dreadnought. The guard, and he comes out. Then the driver of the dreadnoughts, they come right around to be close. Vasek, what is that woman talking about? Vasek is getting very panicked. I don't know. I don't know anything about the Council of Mothers. You don't. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He looks at you, the governor. Totty, what? Totty, was it right?
Yep.
What are you carrying?
It's I called it Tata, but it is a bag. Beetle bag.
I know what these are. These are messenger bags used to carry usually illicit goods. Yeah, I know. Somebody needs the other antenna to open it.
Yes.
He looks at Vasek. Do you have that other antenna? She starts to get real nervous. The other councilman and this other councilwoman next to her they grab her and they start searching her personage with very little respect here, looking for this other antenna. So now where you are, Gary and Petra, you are now the two bone soldiers are there, shields, axes, and they've got you flanked. And they're saying, stay where you are, do not move. They're not attacking, but they are ready to kill. And could you shut this guy up? Could you shut this screamer up? So after a moment, the councilwoman that was beside Vasek pulls her hand out of a woman's pack and produces the antenna for the.
Hey, there it is. That's the one. They said she would have it.
The governor looks at Vasek. Why don't you open that for us? Why don't you go ahead and open that? Vasek is very nervous. This was planted on me. I have been framed. But it isn't long before the council has pushed her forward, and she steps towards you with the antenna, and she's got dead eyes looking at you. And
Actually, it's planted on me, so I would really like you to take it off. And she turns around.
so she lunges for you all of a sudden, and from out of nowhere seems to be that she has this dagger in her hand, and she lunges for you, and she comes right over your head. You manage to duck it, and she misses you with the dagger. And she starts screaming as she tries to come at you with this dagger. She's a liar. She's a liar. She's a liar.
That's not how you open it.
So, all right. So back to actions here. So Camilla, we'll start with you, and then we'll go back down the ranks here.
Yep. Yeah. So once she starts trying to stab at Totty, I'm just gonna, because I assume they're still surrounding me.
Yeah, you're still on the ground, spear to throat kind of situation. Yeah.
So when she starts trying to like stab at her, I'm like, see, I told you she's trying to hide something. Why else would she want her dead?
The governor says, "And who are you again? Who are these people? Who are you again?"
I'm Camilla, you walker.
With me.
Sky City trash. They never stop falling from the sky on our laps. All right?
Yes, well, we're so far above you, we have to fall to get to you.
All right, Gary, what are you doing?
Firstly, shaking my head because, oh God. But after that, as soon as I see Totty getting stabbed at and these bone soldiers, I am going to, I know this would be at probably a huge disadvantage, but I'm going to try my best to do a similar thing that I did in the first scene where I just muster all my composure and training, and just to these soldiers, I'm like, stand down. You don't know what's going on here. And just going to try to I'm just going to start walking forward. Yeah, and almost like in the sense that maybe I'm with them and they don't know it kind of deal.
Okay, I like this. I like this.
What I'm going.
So go ahead and make a challenge roll. Verse 12.
14.
Or verse 11, I should say. 14. Okay. So and then 14, and then roll. You have one banging against you because clearly you're an obvious threat.
Right. That's a 2. So
that takes you to 12. Gotcha. So the men take a small step back, look to their commander. What do we do? What do we do with this guy? And the commander kind of just motions them, and they just kind of walk with you as you're heading. They're huge Horok shields with the horns on them, but they're walking alongside you, just like, what do we do with this guy again? Because everybody is so shocked at this moment, they don't know what to do next. Petra.
Yeah, I'm glad that I get to go after him, because I would like to use every ounce of my agitator nature to start trying to address the soldiers and any other civilians who might be around and saying, the council is trying to kill innocents. The council is spilling innocent blood in the streets. They're unarmed. She's unarmed. She's so young and she's unarmed. Please, someone help. Look at the injustice that's happening in the streets. The governor is here too.
I love this. Roll 1 die 20.
Do I get anything with my agitator dice too?
You get one boon, but you also get one bane because you are clearly not in a place you should be.
Okay.
Cancels out.
15 on the regular, 5 on a boon, so 20, and then 20 minus 5, 15.
Okay. So there's a little more than a dozen people that are on the edge of the periphery of the executive district that kind of hear this, and they start to see some grumblings, and they start yelling out to the governor what's happening, and a couple people start milling out of their houses, and the governor is looking around, the high council is looking around. You know, this is now turned into a scene.
Good.
It's no longer a situation where they can just off people I mean, they might still do it, but it's more complicated now. And it's like, really? And finally, the governor walks up. He commands over the bone soldiers, take the antenna from Vasek and open that beetle. So
She stopped stabbing me.
So the bone soldier, I mean, this guy's a massive brute. He grabs Vasek with one hand, rips the antenna from her hand, and plunges it into the beetle.
Oh, thank
And then all of its legs open up off the side of you, and this beetle crawls off of you. And it's this thing, that's like, it's this big. This isn't some tiny thing, right? And it crawls off of you, and then it rolls over on its side, and you can see it has like this soft, like almost mesh-like underbelly. The bone soldier looks back at the governor, and he's like, he reaches inside of the mesh, and he pulls out this glowing seed. And it's almost like it's this phosphorescent light coming off of it, these small little tendrils, and it kind of takes everyone's breath away on the sight of it. You can feel the presence of this echoes across the whole grounds. This is not some seed. This is something of incredible power. And Vasek is terrified now, right? She is completely undone. And the governor says, the Council of Mothers is trying to grow a great tree here. Vasek, you have been championing their cause for 6 years now, and this is what it comes to. I think the rest of the council would agree with me, Vasek, that it is time you had a more thorough examination off these streets. She is desperate. She's like, but she is desperate. She doesn't know what to do. She starts calling out, my daughter, don't take her.
Your daughter?
And could somebody explain this man? Could somebody explain the madman? We've known Vasek's daughter for years. The guards are grabbing up Vasek, and they're taking her into the dreadnought. And the one guard is sitting there holding this seed in his hand, and the tendrils start to kind of grow out of it. And he said, and Vasek, make an agility check. Roll 1d20.
Do I have? Can I use a secret point on it?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Ooh, okay, that's an 11.
Nice.
Not that
So you
bad.
snake it out of his hand before his nose, and the tendrils start to kind of grow down your arm, and they're making their way towards the floor. People start to look back, and the governor looks in. Because the great tree, so anybody who knows anything about New Gaia, which you know incredibly well, the great tree is where the Council of Mothers is, and there's only one of it. And there's always been rumored this idea that they could plant another one. And the way the great tree works is its roots go throughout all of New Gaia, and through the roots you can travel to anywhere on New Gaia. So if there was a sister tree someplace else, you could essentially travel between the two places, and it could allow for some incredible influence from New Gaia, who's always been creeping into Storm Point. You know this, Totty. So you realize that the Council of Mothers was sending you with something quite double-edged, and certainly not something that Storm Point was excited to get. But it's starting to grow, and it's starting to do its thing in your hands here. And it's starting to reach towards the floor, and people, the council, are scattering around. The bone army is backing up. No one's sure what to do with this thing. And it's literally sprouting down from you. There's little tendrils going straight towards the ground, and it's just punching right through the cobblestone. Like it was paper. Boom, 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 boom. It's starting to work, and it's sitting here in your hands, and you're right in the center of it. Jaddiah, what is your action? What are you doing?
Oh man, I just want to get to my daughter. I was gonna ask if I could use like all of my my navigation-ness to be able to, if I could just, navigate my way through everyone and get to my daughter.
Well,
Because apparently someone doesn't want to be with me anymore.
Well, here's the news. I mean, fortunately, everyone is completely distracted. So
Right.
you would have a boon to try and so you're trying to snake in and yank your daughter out.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so roll 1d20.
Oh, please give me something.
Can I add another boon, like to help him since I've cleared part of the path? Can I like usher him
Good.
through the
I'm
part?
good.
Okay.
I'm good. I rolled a 19.
Vital advice, Camille can boom. So you slip in, and the daughter's been taken away from Vasicus being dragged away, and boom, you scoop up the daughter, and she starts screaming, "Ah, why are you taking me? Why are you taking me? Who's this madman?" And so you're running away with your daughter. The governor's like, "And now we have a child thief. We're about ready to grow a great tree, and somebody's kidnapping a child. Would somebody please do something about this tree?" And the Bone Army starts going at it, and the daughter's almost just lost because of it's literally kind of like a bomb is about to go off, and so no one can even think about the child. And she's screaming and kicking and hitting at you. As you're rushing over, she sees the doll on Gary. And it's like she snaps for a moment, and it like triggers a memory in her. And she stops screaming for a moment, and she looks back at you, and she looks at the doll, and she's uncertain as to. And you can sort of see some memories start to flood into her mind there. And Gary starts to walk a little closer, holding the doll up. And as she wraps her hand around it, her memories start to flood back. And she looks at you, and her eyes start to go from stranger to she starts to get recognition. And she's like, "Dad." And she holds this doll for a moment. I'd forgotten everything. And while she's there, tears are welling up in your eyes, and she's trying to hold on to this. Literally, Totty is in the middle of this, holding on to this seed, and it has now wrapped her completely in these roots and plunged into the earth. And the bone guard started to try and whack at the roots with their axes, but they might as well be hitting stone here. And it just keeps growing, and she has been wrapped up completely at it. The governor is screaming and telling people to get away, get away, get away. And more of the roots just ripping in the stonework, popping up on the ground. It's just cutting into the earth here. And Jaddiah, you're holding your child. Earth is being ripped apart. And Totty is trapped in the heart of a new great tree. Yes, indeed, the councils of mothers did have a great mission for you. They just were uncertain about the price of that mission. As you are trapped in this tree, essentially, Camilla, the guards have stepped back from you. You're no longer really a concern. It's this tree is boom, the roots are going out. One of them punches into the city hall, cuts right through the stone. This tree is going to grow itself right here tonight. And so, go for it.
Oh yeah, while this is happening, I'm like, as soon as they kind of disperse from me, and they're like, "Oh my God, what's that?" And then I watch as Jaddiah like gets his daughter, and as she starts to recognize him, and I'm like ushering Petra away from the danger of this. And
I'm like wide-eyed. You're having to drag me away because I'm wide-eyed having the best night ever because all these rich people are panicking, and I think this is great and hilarious. So yeah, you're having to like actually pull me away.
she'll kind of like drag you, and she's like, this was not what was supposed to happen. This wasn't how. She said, "I just want that," and she points to Jaddiah and his daughter, who are presumably by this point like just hugging each other, and just like, and she says, "I just want that."
Okay. Well, we can find you a nice man, and it's not too late in life, and adoption's an option.
You're not a noble.
No, I'm pretty sure I am.
No,
you're
my daughter.
Nope, that doesn't make sense.
She pulls out the journal of the of a cook or some servant in the house that's lived in the house for a very long time, and it's and she flips to a page, and it's a page in the journal where this servant has written down like the day that you were like brought home, which would be a week after what they told you your birthday is.
Where did you get this?
And it's like that house's paperwork, like everything. And she says, I'm not noble. Well, partially, but my mother was noble. And she had an affair with the stable hand. And they raised me as their own until she died. And then my father pretty much kept me locked in the dungeon anytime that we didn't have company that didn't know the true story. And before that, though, 24 years ago, I gave birth to a child because I had a similar affair to my mother with the cook this time.
And the ground is being ripped up all around you. And the world is just being torn apart. And Totty is now completely in the center and trapped around with these roots in the center of this tree, which is plunging into the earth, which has been plunging into the earth. The governor has dived into the dreadnought. The bone army is scattered. And people by the thousands are now pouring around the executive district to witness what is happening. And we now have the reuniting of a mother and her daughter, and the reuniting of a father and his daughter. No Stormcrow. That may be yet to be seen.
Well, he got
And
his
Gary,
daughter back. He hasn't promised he made me.
Nice. And one of the bone commanders, the captains there on the ground points to you, Gary, and says, I need a hand.
And I look at him. Is it like clear that they want me to help with this tree?
He says, clearly they think you're worthy of it. We need all the men we can get right now. We've got to tear this thing down. Are you with us?
I'm with you. And he smiles, but then he's like, for now. Gary's grown a little. Gary's learned a little bit about these people. His mind might have changed, but he's with them for now to try to help get Totty out or whatever.
Nice. So you join the ranks of the Bone Army for this moment, and they clap you on the back, and there's a little bit of that satisfaction, what you were hoping, that here you are in the with the army. Totty, he got her wish. She got her dream. She did something important for someone important, and the mainland will never be the same again. Getting you out won't be possible. Families have been reunited. Old men have got their dreams, and young girls completed their quest. And that's where we'll end our story tonight. Yay!
Yay!
Oh, that was so good.
Nice. Thank you, guys. I did not see this ending coming this way, for sure.
Chaos.
They never do.
Boy, I loved the way these were all events happening, but then you brought them all together in this really special way. Thank you, Camilla, for being bold and just diving into the fray. But I love this story, and I feel like there's a completion of great arcs, and I think we explored a little small section of the world of Asunder and your cool origins. So thank you for playing with
fantastic. Me. Thank you all for playing. Thank you for that wonderful story. Thank you to our viewers for joining us. I know it's getting late, but if anyone has any questions for Adam about the game or the system or the Kickstarter, go ahead and pop those in the chat right now before we let everybody go. I have a couple questions. I'm just hoping that you could let everyone know a little bit about the Kickstarter and what sort of rewards they can get if they jump in on this, because it's going through the 22nd, right? That's when the campaign
goes to the 22nd. It goes to Tuesday. And we wanted to give people sort of everything we could possibly give them. So the first path, which is I think the most exciting. It's the Keeper's Path, and this pledge tier, it gets you 2 source books because we went crazy, right? We have 2 hardcover source books, a Seeker's Guide, which is for players, and a Keeper's Tome for storytellers. Then there is A Gathering of Chaos, the novel. It's a fantastic 500-page real novel written in the world of Asunder. Plus, there is a standard Keeper's screen, kind of like a Dungeon Master's screen that's cardboard and beautifully painted. Then there's also a set of custom dice that are a 20 set of dice and 3 boons and 3 banes set specifically in the world. And we've unlocked so far 6 awesome minis. And except our minis are 40 to 50 millimeters tall, so they're big and highly detailed. And each one is from a different origin. There's a Beastmaster. There's somebody from the Black Isle. There's somebody from Sky City. There's a Seafarer. Somebody from the Chaos Wielder from the mainland. And then also we just recently unlocked. There's a campaign module that people get in PDF form. We just upgraded it to a print form. So the Keeper's Path gets you the whole package. And then there's steps down from that. You can get just the 2 source books if you want, or just the Seeker's Guide and the novel that can get you into the world. And there's also a digital version of the whole thing. So if you're a minis person because you like to use them on the table, or if you just love to paint them, they're rad. And if you want to explore a new world that is different and has a very different set of origins and people and paths to explore, this would be a great place to do it. And
Absolutely.
I think that's the campaign. It ends Tuesday, and it's also too, these books are huge and fully illustrated. We commissioned over 170 images for it. They're all full color, beautiful high fantasy art. So they're a pleasure to look at.
Somebody's asking in the chat, is there a reward tier if somebody just wants the digital versions of stuff?
There is. There's called the Digital Path, and it gets you all that I described there, but in the digital version. Except for it doesn't get you the STLs for the minis. That's it. But you can add that on if you want.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Fantastic. I like to 3D print minis at home, so I like that there's an option for that. Yeah. If there's no other questions about that, perhaps people should stop in tomorrow when I believe you're going to be joining in for a session of World Weavers.
I am. Thank you for that offer.
Yeah.
I will be in.
A little show we do here. I won't be there, but our channel Dungeon Master Puck and a few of the players you saw today will be there. They're working on building a continent. Actually building a whole world, but they're going to be working on specifically a continent tomorrow and have the benefit of this professional world builder, if you will, lending a little bit of its flavor to it. So if there's anything else you want to say on the way out?
No, just thank you for watching and listening. I know it was 3 hours of time, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. It was really fun. I love this group. I wish we could do this more often. So thank you.
Well, hey, there's no reason we can't. Maybe we'll have to set something up for the next stage. See if we can find that mysterious contact that people need to get in touch with. Well, thank you to all of our players. Thank you to our special guests. Thank you, Dingo. Thank you, One Shot Questers, for joining us for this game. I'll put you guys back on screen just one more time so everybody can see those socials and you can wave a goodbye. But I guess, do you have any sort of sign-off you do themed towards the world? Is there any sort of catchphrase you want to end us with?
I would say that the catchphrase for this is, there are mysteries to be found, and which ones do you seek?
Fantastic. Everyone have a great night. Stay tuned for the raid.
I watched them both suffer and die. 'Twas over in less than a minute, and rounds by acid, by claw, tooth, and tail. By the time I struck at the mighty black fiend, all of our efforts had failed.